gets lonely. I taste good on her lips, goes down smooth and easy. She thinks my name's whiskey. She thinks my name's whiskey. She only leans on me when she gets lonely. I taste good on her lips, go down smooth and easy. She thinks my name's whiskey. She thinks my name's whiskey. She thinks my name's whiskey.
Stick around. Bonnie's final word is coming up. You got it locked into the Bonnie Hernandez Show right here on KLMO. KLMO, down 98.9 and 92.1 FM.
Ese hombre me engañó. Yo no sé por qué. Si le di toda mi vida y se fue con mi mejor amiga. Ese hombre me mintió y yo lo apunto con el dedo. Si algún día yo lo
station all the Tejano artists listen to.
Hola San Antonio, nosotros somos Los Palominos.
What's up, San Antonio? This is Chente Barrera.
What's up, San Antonio? This is Ram.
What's up, San Antonio? This is Shelly Lottes.
What's up San Antonio? This is your boy Jay Pettis.
What's up, San Antonio? We are
Texas Latino.
What's up, San Antonio? This is Lucky Joe, and you're listening to KLMO.
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 KLMO. Tejano 98.9 FM.
We are San Antonio. We are KLMO. KLMO, Tejano 98.9 and 92.1 FM.
Otra vez llegó la noche, yo me encuentro sola, a pesar de que hace nada te tuve aquí por mí. Entre mis brazos disfrutando del amor, es que aún sigue en mi cuerpo tu olor. Maldito juego del destino de ponernos tan en el mismo camino. Ya me cansé, más bien me ardía de esta situación. Llegó el momento de una decisión. Háblame claro, dime si o yo. Ya me cansé de que tu amor se divide entre dos. No miraré más a mi corazón, que se merece algo mucho mejor. Ya me cansé de tener que esperar a que tú puedas verme una vez más. Sara, Monique, ya me cansé, más bien me ardía de esta situación. Llegó el momento de una decisión. Háblame claro, dime si o yo. Ya me cansé de que tu amor se divide entre dos. No miraré más a mi corazón, que se merece algo mucho mejor. Ya me cansé de tener que esperar a que tú puedas verme una vez más. Otra vez llegó la noche, yo me encuentro sola.
You're listening to the Bonnie Hernandez Show right here on KLMO. KLMO. Tejano 98.9 and 92.1 FM. We are San Antonio.
Quiero más, mucho más de lo que dice algún libro, algún filósofo, un escritor. Quiero más, mucho más de lo que exigen los años y al mundo a mi alrededor. Y solo quiero encontrar mi verdad en tus ojos. Corazón para mi corazón. Escribir nuestras historias viviendo en momentos que sobrevivan el tiempo.
Broadcasting from the seventh largest city in the United States of America, San Antonio, the capital of Tejano music. This is KLMO 98.9, Gilly, San Antonio, and K221GF921 in San Antonio. KLMO, Tejano 98.9 and 92.1 FM. We are San Antonio, a Lopez Broadcasting station.
Good Saturday morning. This is April Monterosa, and I'm coming to you live from the KLMO 98.9 FM studio. Thank you for tuning into the April Monterosa Show, which highlights unique Tejanos who are making a difference in entertainment, business, music, and their communities. This show is partnered with Live from the Southside magazine, the only woman-owned lifestyle and travel publication in the south side of San Antonio, Texas. You can receive the digital version of the publication free by subscribing at livefromthesouthside.com. It's good to be back in the studio after spending some time in North Texas with the Pink Berets. The Pink Berets is a nonprofit that provides resources to active duty women of the United States Armed Forces, veterans, and first responders seeking assistance and invisible injuries such as PTSD, military sexual trauma, and traumatic brain injury on a local and national level. I am blessed to have provided a self-care and wellness class for their yearly retreat. These women are amazing and true warriors, and I want to thank them all for their service. Speaking of nonprofits, today's special guest knows a thing or two about the nonprofit world. I'd like to introduce my fellow Latina Leadership Institute sister, Miss Tiffany Galvan, founder of TMG Media Nonprofit Consulting. Welcome to the KLMO studio.
Thank you so much, friend. I'm so grateful for you, and thank you for letting me be on to share nonprofit stories and my story.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so excited to have you here, and thanks for taking time out of your day to spend time here with us. So introduce yourself. Tell our listeners where you're from and a little bit about your background.
Absolutely. So my name is Tiffany Galvan. I am born and raised Puro San Antonio. I went to grade school, high school, and college here. I have been in the community, on the ground, learning about the community, loving my San Antonio, and really just have always had a heart for helping others. And then in my journey of discovering how I wanted to give back to my community, it became a lifelong journey of also supporting nonprofits so that they can build community as well, because without our nonprofits, we would not have a lot of the support that our community needs. And so I'm really grateful that I am born and raised here, and I love my community, and I love my Spurs, even though I'm a Jinx and I can't watch them. But I love them so much that I will not watch so that they can win.
So how did you get into the nonprofit world? Because who wakes up and says, I want to be in the nonprofit world? I understand giving back to the community, but specifically that avenue. How did you get started?
Oh, you mean you don't wake up and say, I'm going to be a nonprofit fundraising consultant? Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone wakes up and thinks that. No one does. No one does. And there are many times that even nonprofit leaders and development people will tell you that they even wake up and question why they do what they do, right? How I actually got in was I have always had a talent for storytelling. I've always had a talent for connecting with others on a human level with my empathy, and I have learned to use my empathy as a strength. Everyone in the nonprofit field will actually tell you, especially development, they will tell you that they fell into it, and it's the same story for me. So I received a great internship in college with the Family Violence Prevention Services, and I had been teetering around of how am I going to be able to build a career of telling stories, but telling them authentically and being a light for others while also getting paid and also not selling my soul to whatever big entity that wouldn't care, right? So I was in this internship at the Family Violence Prevention Services, and we were taking a tour of the battered women and children's shelter. And we were in the daycare, and there was this little girl, and she couldn't have been more than 3 years old. and she had these bouncy curls and bright eyes, and she just immediately came up to me and asked me to pick her up, and like just raising her arms. I picked her up, I sang her to sleep, and the volunteers were just in awe because apparently she had been catatonic for 2 days and had not talked to anybody. She witnessed her mom get abused, and her mom was still in the hospital. And I just realized at that moment that there are so many stories that are untold. There are so many stories that don't have a voice and don't have an authentic voice of genuinely caring what happens after, right? And so I realized that if I could leverage my talents, if I could teach others now in my business, right, how to tell those stories authentically without exploiting, then maybe we can make an even bigger impact together. Because as one person, you can only do so much, right? But if you can tell a story, and if it impacts others and it spreads a ripple effect, then that really changes lives.
For sure. Tell us exactly what TMG Media Nonprofit Consulting is, what services you offer.
Right. So honestly, as year 4 in business, because again, just like you wake up in the morning and think you're going to be a nonprofit consultant, I woke up in the morning in 2019 and decided to start a business before a pandemic. So very natural start to success, right? So over the last 4 years, where TMG Media has really grown and where I've really been focusing on is the nonprofit space, because as a nonprofit leader, I never really received a lot of support. I never received a lot of direction or even training on how to fundraise successfully. And so I wanted to create a business that I could teach others what I've learned the hard way, so that they don't have to struggle as much, so that they don't have to pull their hair out as much when trying to build a mission, when trying to build a community, when trying to support the community. Because oftentimes it's just really good people with heart-centered leaders who want to do a good thing but aren't given the tools or resources or even funding in order to support their missions, to support the community. And so I really just wanted to bridge that gap and teach others what I've learned along the way. It's also sort of transformed into being an advocate for mental health, being an advocate for other heart-centered leaders who are small business owners, because I am a small business owner 2 times. Aside from the nonprofit consulting, my husband and I also own the Man-Child Goods and Sorts, which is a bourbon pancake syrup. And there's just been so many lessons along the way. So anytime that I can just be an advocate for others and uplift others in different spaces like the nonprofit and small business world, I really try to just fill those gaps as best as possible. So to answer your question, a lot of my services are still being built out because there have been times that I have ran full-on galas in my business, and then I realized galas are a lot of work, or I remembered galas are a lot of work because I've done them forever. And then there are times that I have been a full development team, and then I have to tell myself, wait a second, I'm only one person, I should not do that. And so right now it's actually a cohort of training others, and so I've built out training opportunities to really support others along that, building strategic development plans and just working one-on-one with the nonprofits. Basic capacity building only times 10, because when you're a heart-centered leader, you do far more than what you tell yourself you're going to do.
Yes, I know that all too well. That's a lot. Who have been some of your biggest influences? Because that's beyond giving back. You're not just giving back to your community, you're also educating other people who want to give back.
Right.
So talk about chain reaction. That alone is a chain reaction, because you're helping others help others. Who have been some of the biggest influences in your life?
So, from such a young age, my parents have always instilled an act of service in our lives. My mom and dad are always just being there for others as themselves. And so I learned from a very young age. I think most Latinos or Latinx people will relate to that, right? Because it's in our blood, it's in our culture to support other people. And, we come from a culture of, if someone doesn't have food, we feed them, right? And that's an act of love. And so service has always equated love to me. And so when I was thinking of how to do that, so I look at my parents, I look at my grandparents, I look at the legacy of the people who have come before me, but then also the leaders who have supported me along the way. So my teachers at St. Mary's, I know one of them, I was really struggling because I just learned I had ADHD 3 years ago, like so many of us. Actually 4 years now because pandemic, right? So I just learned I had ADHD 4 years ago, and one of my teachers, when I was really struggling in college, he would actually call the vice president of development, and he would say, Tiffany hasn't shown up for class. She's really brilliant. She's really amazing. She's talented at what she does, but she gets really stuck, and she needs help. And he was just always supporting me along the way. And may he rest in peace, Dr. Palmer Hall. And then, you know, Jackie Gorman, former VP or former executive director of San Antonio for Growth on the East Side, who reminded me all the time to use my voice and that I shouldn't be afraid of my voice. I shouldn't be afraid of telling others or, you know, being palatable, and that it's okay not to be. It's okay to advocate for others. It's okay to rise up. It's okay to tell the truth, even if it's not always favorable, because sometimes that means that that's where change happens.
For sure. And I love how soft-spoken you are, but you get your point across.
100%.
I love that. You know, you carry a lot with you because you meet so many different people, so many different personalities. What has been one of the biggest rewards of what you do?
There are so many, but I think my favorite part of what I do is the aha moment. The aha moment of these leaders who have been stuck, who have been feeling unworthy, who have had their light diminished because they feel like they don't have access to certain tables. And then when they start receiving money just because they follow the advice and they've started regaining their sense of self-worth and regaining their voice and reclaiming their voice, right? The aha moment of, oh my gosh, Tiffany, I just did this. So one of them is, one of my favorite ones is this nonprofit in the Philippines, Helping Hands, Healing Hearts. They came to me less than 2 weeks before December 31 with an end-of-year giving plan. They had been trying to raise money for 2 months at that point. They said that no one was helping them and that they didn't know what was wrong. And I look at everything and I realized it was a more heart thing. It wasn't a plan thing, it was a heart thing. That the shift needed to happen in the executive director. I helped her write and script a video that she then posted, and in less than 2 weeks, her goal was 10,000, and in less than 10 weeks she raised 50.
Wow.
And now she is on TikTok, she is an influencer, she is still the executive director of this nonprofit that is a remote clinic for foster children and orphan children in the Philippines, and she saves lives, right? And there are so many voices and so many leaders who save lives in what they do. And then they just get stuck and they say, I'm doing all of this amazing work, but I'm not raising money. WTF, right? And what am I doing wrong? And sometimes it's not a plan thing. Sometimes it's a heart thing. And so my favorite part is working one-on-one with these leaders and reminding them of their heart, reminding them of their strengths, reminding them of all of the strengths that they have and all of the work that they've already built, that maybe they just need to kind of step back a little out of the forest so that they can see the path forward. Because we're taught, especially as nonprofit leaders and heart-centered leaders, we're taught to hustle our way through everything. And hustling can only go so far. Sometimes, and we're also taught to just work our way through everything. But if you're constantly working, if you're constantly hustling, you're not stopping, you're not being still, you're not honoring all of the gifts you already have, you're not honoring all of the work that you've already built, you're not able to look back and say, hey, I've already accomplished all of this, let me use what I've already built. And so,
are you talking to me?
Maybe. I tell myself that too, to be quite honest, because sometimes you have to remind yourself, like, wait a second, you know what? I'm not starting from scratch. I am not starting from the ground up. I have years of relationships that I've built. I am a whole person, right? I've built friendships. I've built relationships. I've built this beautiful mission that gives back to other people in some way, right? Whether nonprofit or small business. Giving yourself grace and honoring your strengths and honoring where you're at, that creates the impact, and that creates the aha moment. So there's another client that's one of my favorites, and he went from being afraid to not talking, being afraid to talking to people, to being an author for a book, has his own podcast now, is doing $1 million developments, and is still curing blind people in Nepal.
Wow.
Right? So it sometimes it's not what you think is the problem. Sometimes you have to give yourself grace, and sometimes you have to remind yourself of what you already have so that you can then be successful. The strategy will come, and the strategy is there, and I can always teach a strategy. But if I don't change the heart first, then the strategy is pointless.
I love that. I love that. We're going to take a quick short music break, and we'll be right back.
Thrawn in my system. Thrawn in my system. Thrawn in my system.
He loves me all night.
Thrawn in my system. Thrawn in my system. Thrawn in my system.
He loves me all night.
Es lo que quieren las venas, quieren el vaso lleno. A mí no me importa que estás tomando, al fin de la noche te llevo conmigo. ¿Qué es lo que quieren las venas? Quieren el vaso lleno. A mí no me importa que estás tomando, al fin de la noche te llevo conmigo. Oye niña, al solo mirarte, no puedo mentir, no puedo negar, en tu cuerpo quiero estar. Es tu cuerpo sexy, it's driving me crazy. Si fuera por mí te haría amor aquí. Thrawn in my system. Thrawn in my system. Thrawn in my system.
He loves me all night.
Thrawn in my system. Thrawn in my system. Thrawn in my system.
He loves me all night.
¿Qué es lo que quieren las venas? Quieren el vaso lleno. A mí no me importa que estás tomando, al fin de la noche te llevo conmigo. ¿Qué es lo que quieren las venas? Quieren el vaso lleno. A mí no me importa que estás tomando, al fin de la noche te llevo conmigo. Yo te quiero tu cuerpo. No puedes mentir, no puedes negar que conmigo te vas. Es tu cuerpo sexy, it's driving me crazy. Si fuera por mí te haría amor aquí. ¿Qué es lo que quieren las venas? Quieren el vaso lleno. A mí no me importa que estás tomando, al fin de la noche te llevo conmigo. ¿Qué es lo que quieren las venas? Quieren el vaso lleno. A mí no me importa que estás tomando, al fin de la noche te llevo conmigo. Thrawn in my system. Thrawn in my system. Thrawn in my system.
He loves me all night.
Thrawn in my system. Thrawn in my system. Thrawn in my system. Te quiero más. Ay, niña, te quiero sentir. Si fuera por mí te haría amor aquí. Thrawn in my system. Thrawn in my system. Thrawn in my system.
He loves me all night.
Thrawn in my system. Thrawn in my system. Thrawn in my system.
That's fine. Alrighty, welcome back to the April Monterosa Show, and I'm here live with Miss Tiffany Galvan. So I meet many people who want to give back to their communities. They're passionate about specific causes, and they want to start a nonprofit or a foundation. Can you tell us the difference between the two?
So a nonprofit is when you have a very important mission and you want to give back to your community through programs and tangible impact. A foundation is giving money to others, and so you have to have a lot of money to have a foundation. Typically, you want to start a foundation at least $500,000. And so, I don't have 500,000 yet, right? But you definitely need to have a little bit of money. If you do have a small business though, and you want to give back to others, there are other ways of giving back to others. so you can, San Antonio Area Foundation has donor advised funds through the Area Foundation, and so it's different special interest funds that can fund different grants that they have, and you can even create a grant with them if you want, or you could even do special, donor advised fund with Fidelity or Schwab or some of the other. There are a bunch of them that you can find that just works for you, and that's a way of giving back to others by also, having a small business and, giving it back that way. The nonprofit end of it, the joke that I tell other people whenever everyone says, oh, so because you're a nonprofit fundraising consultant, are you a nonprofit? First of all, no, I am not a nonprofit. I am a for-profit. Second of all, they ask, will you start a nonprofit? And I always say H-E-double-L hockey sticks no, because nonprofits there's a lot of oversight for nonprofits. And so if you're going to start a nonprofit, number one, I always tell people, what is your mission? If they don't have a mission, I'm like, okay, well, what are your values? Who do you want to impact? Who are your target people that you're trying to impact? And then I ask them, is someone else in the community already doing this? And if the answer is yes, I always ask, have you volunteered with them? Have you reached out to them and asked if there are any ways to collaborate with them? If the answer is no, I tell them to do that first. Because running a nonprofit is a lot of work. And so, if someone says, I want to start a nonprofit and they haven't, I'm like, oh, volunteer first, go join a board, go be part of the infrastructure part of it first, and then come back to me. And if you still want to start a nonprofit, then we'll talk, right?
So these people that reach that decision, they want to go full force and starting their own nonprofit, what are the first steps to getting that journey started?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're going to need a 501c3 designation. There are a couple of people in San Antonio that help with that. The San Antonio Area Foundation, Dorinda Roll is an amazing consultant that helps with that. There are other lawyers that can help with that too. You can even go online, YouTube it for free, and do that tutorial. But you're going to need a 501c3 designation. The second thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to develop a board. Do not, I repeat, do not have your family on the board. Do not have your best friends on the board. Go into your community, think of the people who have really great strengths that need to fill your weaknesses, because as a nonprofit leader, it's all about self-awareness, even though it's not always taught that way. So definitely look into your pocket of network and see, okay, who are good people who are active in the community already, people who have no problem talking to others and no problem sharing your mission, people who can blab to the world. Like, think of your Thea, but not your Thea, right? Like, you need people who are going to be advocates for you so that they can share your mission to others, because a lot of it is going to be word of mouth in the very beginning until you have a foundation. So you're going to need a 501c3, you're going to need a really good board. Typically for a new nonprofit, they recommend no less than 4 people, but it's really good to have a little bit more if you're starting, because the extra support will be very valued. You're going to have to also think about the fact that you're probably not going to be paid immediately, and some of it may be self-funded unless you are already enmeshed in the network of fundraisers and funding opportunities. Money doesn't just fall into your lap unless you have that privilege, and most heart-centered leaders do not have that privilege. So think of a plan. There are opportunities like GiveButter. GiveButter is a free online platform that will allow you to raise money with very low percentage take rates. And so most of these platforms, like if you think of GoFundMe, right? It's like GoFundMe, but for nonprofits, and GiveButter just has a very intuitive platform, especially for starter nonprofits. You're going to have to ask for money. So after you get your 501c3, after you get your board, after you get your mission and vision in line, which mission and vision are going to be a little bit different. After you get your mission and vision in line, what is your story? Why is this important? Why is this cause important? And more than what is your story and why this cause is important, why you? Why your nonprofit? Why is your nonprofit unique in the thousands of others that exist?
Like a sales pitch.
Kind of, yeah. It is exactly kind of like a sales pitch, but I call it more of a mission focus statement. So why are you so passionate about your mission that you would want to get into a space that is sometimes infuriating, that you are going to experience wins because you help people, but you're going to also experience a lot of losses, right? And so, you know, you think about some of these missions that have really high turnover, like missions that support individuals who have been abused. You think about San Antonio's pet population situation and all of the heartache that happens at Animal Care Services, and then you think about, why do these people keep going back to those missions, right? And so your why has to be so strong that you're going to set aside your ego to ask other people for money, especially when so many of us have been raised of, we don't ask for help, right? We don't ask for money. We do it ourselves. We pick up our big girl pants and we do it ourselves. But you are going to have to, number one, get over it, get over yourself, and really have a mission so big that you're going to be able to push past that ego, to ask for money, to be at networking events, to join networking groups, which is another advice I always give people. Join networking groups like the Latino Leadership Institute, like Leadership San Antonio, like the Alexander Briseño Leadership Program, like New Leaders Council, like the NALCAP Pete Garcia Fellowship. There are so many great organizations in San Antonio that will, what I say is, I'm lazy. It's a joke. Because these leadership organizations are going to connect you to funders, and you'll be in the same room of most of the funders in San Antonio. And so you're able to connect with them on a human level, that you're able to really leverage your story and tell your story in a way authentically that you're going to be able to build the relationship, so that by the time you're building a relationship, you can then ask for money.
I've seen a lot of existing nonprofits that struggle with fundraising. And I think because they're not out there networking properly or enough or at all, they want to rely on friends and families for donations. They're having plate sales, things like that. And that's cool and all. But I don't think they realize the expenses that come with running a nonprofit. It's like having another home, really.
Right.
Because you still have bills, you still have staff and, you know, whatnot, right? So for those that are existing nonprofits and they're seeking funding, what are some tips for them?
Yes, so I would, two things. One, I would look at who you already have. Who are the funders that are already in your corner? I would be setting up lunch, dinners, happy hour, breakfast with all of those people if you have not connected with them recently, because it's all about the relationship. I think people forget how important the relationship is. Also, I would remind people that these relationships should not be solely transactional. Have you been talking to these people outside of asking them for money? And that's for anybody. Have you been talking to not only the funders, but your family and the friends and all the people that you hit up every single time, but you don't hit up to just say happy birthday, or you don't hit up to say
relationships. Relationship building is everything.
Relationships, genuinely caring about other people. And I understand it's so hard when we're stuck in the mud, especially for a nonprofit mission, because sometimes, again, like I said, we get very lost in the work sometimes. But you have to remember that these people were there for you, and you have to remember that they're people too. So go back to the funders who have already supported you, write a list of funders that you would love to meet, and ask some of the funders, the relationships you've built, ask them if they know those people at those funding opportunities or at those partners. So ask them if they know others at those places. Ask if they can do a warm introduction, and start building those relationships. And so look at what you already have, write the list of who you want to meet. Before you write your list, what are you trying to do and what are you trying to accomplish? So are you trying to build a new program but you don't have the staff for it? is that new program needed, right? Or should you be asking and streamlining your programs in a way of how am I operating my mission efficiently, effectively, so that I can create the biggest impact, and then telling the funders that, right?
So having a system.
Having a system, but then also having a come to Jesus with your own mission, right? And so when you're talking to these funders, some of these funders are very blunt. Like they will just tell you, because I mean they're like us, they're people, right? And they're no BS. And so they'll tell you, okay, well, we funded your program 2 years ago, and then what happened? Does that program still exist? Are you trying to bring back the program? Did you have high turnover rates, right? Do you have high turnover rates and you're still asking for money? Sometimes, again, fix the heart, write your list, write your second list of what your dream is, but also have a little bit of a discernment of, okay, why is this list important and what am I genuinely going to ask them for? Because you don't want to just be asking for anything and trying to throw balloons at a dart that may not,
For sure.
pop, may not hit, may not.
And for those potential funders, they have, that the capital, the extra money to donate and give back. What are the benefits of them giving nonprofit money?
Right. So, again, it comes down to relationships. But what I also recommend, a little trick, is go to Google, type in the funder, and type in the funder's name plus the words corporate responsibility. Usually that website link or page for that funder will come up. Look at their guidelines. Look at what they give back to. Look at who they fund. Type in the name of the funder, type in the word sponsor, and other nonprofits will come up of who they sponsored before, and you'll be able to see, okay, well, this nonprofit has a very similar mission to mine, so that means they may fund nonprofits like mine. But again, remember, it's still going to come down to the relationship. So every grant I've ever applied for, I've won. And the reason why is because I've always built the relationship first. I've always had the conversation with the funder first before I've ever applied to a grant. People should not be applying to grants or applying for funding if you have not built the relationship first. And so if you feel stuck, go back to your relationships. Go back to your team. Go back to your mission.
Use what you got.
Use what you got.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. If you have a nonprofit and don't want to do that anymore, what happens? Do you have to... Is there a process to, I guess, terminate your nonprofit?
So the IRS will do that for you sometimes. If you are not raising enough money, if you are not having public support, if you are not doing your due diligence of being a good steward to your mission, then it can naturally close. You can also, dissolve it. You can... What I would recommend, though, if you are going to close your nonprofit, I would recommend looking at other nonprofits who have a similar mission, who are already doing the work, who are a little bit more established, and seeing if there's alignment for that bigger nonprofit to obtain some of your clients and kind of have a transfer of support. Because if you really started this mission for a reason, right, you don't just want to drop people that you've helped. And so if you do have to come to Jesus with yourself of, you know what, this nonprofit thing is just not for me, I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing, I'm going to close my doors, what happens to the people who you just helped, right?
For sure.
Find a nonprofit with a similar mission, ask them if they'd be willing to look at your clients or, refer your clients to the bigger nonprofit or other nonprofits that are doing the work so that there's no gap in service. Because at the end of the day, right, none of us, even if we're burnt out, none of us really want to drop people who we're helping.
For sure. Biggest fundraising tip you can give nonprofits, if it was just one, what would it be?
Focus on the relationship and don't be transactional. Really remind yourself that we're working human to human. People give to people. At the end of the day, people give to people. I learned actually as a small business owner, so as a nonprofit, fundraiser, right, we always say, oh, and your donation may be tax deductible. But as a small business owner, every dollar counts. Every dollar that I earn counts, goes towards bills, goes towards medical expenses, sometimes goes towards life, right? And I've learned through doing my own taxes and also learning about taxes is that those tax deductions don't do SHIT. If people give you money on an individual level, they give money because they care about your mission and they care about you as a person. It doesn't actually help them in their tax deductions. You have to give at least $25,000 as a small business owner for it to make any difference on your taxes.
I did not know that.
Yes, and so if you think about it that way, right? And you have gone on this mission of being transactional, well, you're hitting a wall. And so genuinely care about people, come back to who you are, reclaim who you are, reclaim your voice, reclaim the stories of impact and sharing the impact that you're actually doing. Remind yourself you're working with other people and that the relationship will always make a difference.
What is the biggest goal of what you do?
The biggest goal of what I do, there are two. The first one is I want other heart-centered leaders to not lose hope in who they are. I want people to feel affirmed and loved and that they are worthy of who they are in this space. And then the second one is if I do my job effectively, I would love to build a world where not so many nonprofits exist, that people just have what they need to live a good, healthy, thriving life, that we build strong communities where people are fed, where people are not abused, where people are loved, right? I would love to build strong communities at the end of the day, and how we do that is sometimes just helping each other along the way.
That's awesome. I'm very proud of you, and I think that what you're doing in our community is very important because there are many people in the city doing really cool things and they want to help more people. They just don't know how to.
Right.
And you've become a leader in the nonprofit world where you're guiding them. You're guiding these nonprofits to help others, and that's a really big deal. But I'm going to do a couple of radio shout-outs. We have Miss Erica Valadez tuning in, Miss Lori Galindo, Double A Barbecue. If you have not tried his stuff, you got to look him up. Thank you for tuning in, Jasmine Lucia, and we'll be right back.
Aquí nos vamos otra vez por el 281. Ay, no se nos quita la maña. Tambalea, 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 nuestro cariño debemos de evitarlo. Que no me quieres, que tampoco yo te quiero. Desengañémonos, hablemos francamente. Yo no quisiera que nuestro amor se termine así. Yo no me explico por qué te has alejado de mí. A Dios le pido que pronto nos dé su bendición. El adorarte y el quererte es mi mejor virtud. Yo por mi parte te prometo cambiar de opinión y que comprendas que todo esto tiene una razón. Nuestro cariño es lo más grande en este mundo y que por pequeñeces jamás podrá terminar. Se tambalea, 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 nuestro cariño debemos de evitarlo. Que no me quieres, que tampoco yo te quiero. Desengañémonos, hablemos francamente. Oh, por ahí no. No, hombre, qué bárbaro, compadre. Dale otra vez, Chris, otra vez. 281. Vámonos. Se tambalea, 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 nuestro cariño debemos de evitarlo. Que no me quieres, que tampoco yo te quiero. Desengañémonos, hablemos francamente. Yo no quisiera que nuestro amor se termine así. Yo no me explico por qué te has alejado de mí. A Dios le pido que pronto nos dé su bendición. El adorarte y el quererte es mi mejor virtud. Yo por mi parte te prometo cambiar de opinión y que comprendas que todo esto tiene una razón. Nuestro cariño es lo tambalea, tambalea nuestro cariño, debemos de evitarlo. Que no me quieres, que tampoco yo te quiero. Desengañémonos, hablemos francamente. Se tambalea, tambalea, tambalea nuestro cariño, debemos de evitarlo. Que no me quieres, que tampoco yo te quiero. Desengañémonos, hablemos francamente.
All righty, welcome back to the April Monterosa Show. So, Tiffany, thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge about the nonprofit world. Again, I'm very proud of you. Keep doing all the work and all the amazing things that you're doing in our beautiful city of San Antonio. But you have something really cool that you brought us. You have a bourbon pancake syrup.
Yes.
You had me at bourbon, girl.
Same.
Tell me about that.
So I'll try to bring it for the video here, but this is the Man-Child Goods and Swords Fireside Bourbon Syrup. We predominantly use it for pancakes. My husband makes it. We are a home business. We are working on building that business, but it is bourbon, pure cane sugar, citrus, molasses, and all the goodness. You can use it on pancakes, waffles, French toast. You can cook with it. You can bake with it. You can roll in it if you want to. I'm just kidding. You can use it as a cocktail sweetener. You can use it as oatmeal sweetener, coffee sweetener. It's just so good. And we've been in business for the last 4 years. We've been a little bit slower this year just because of life, but we're hoping to really build it back up, and I'm so excited to share it with you today because it's amazing and I love it. I'm very biased.
Tell us how that started.
So it started, my husband makes it, as I said. So my husband, actually, I was having a really hard day at my nonprofit that I was working at. It was a rough one, just a lot of loss, a lot of, losses and not enough wins. Same thing that I was talking about in this nonprofit space. And my husband wanted to make me happy, so pancakes make me happy. And so he made me these beautiful hot cakes with fresh raspberries. And he realized that the pancakes were way too pretty for basic syrup. And so he decided to make a bourbon syrup. He had bourbon, he knew how to make syrup, and so he made a bourbon syrup. The original recipe is a little bit boozier than this one because of Texas liquor laws. So he cooks it for over 10 hours.
Wow.
So that we can cook off all the alcohol, so it is safe for children and expecting parents. And so we cook off all the alcohol, and so it is non-alcohol. I shouldn't do quotes. It's non-alcoholic, but we do use bourbon, and we cook off all the alcohol, so it still retains the bourbon flavor with all the other complex flavors that make it so special.
That is super cool. Tell us how we can find that.
You can find us at the Manchild 2.0 on Instagram, and you can send us a message. If you buy anything over $20 and you're within 1604, we will deliver. We are also working to work with different partners and vendors at different vendor spots coming up, especially for the holidays. And so please keep an eye out at our Instagram or Facebook for our next steps.
How do you juggle all of that? I mean, that's a lot. You have a family. You have your nonprofit business. Now you have this awesome pancake syrup. How do you juggle all of that?
Breathing, giving myself grace, reminding myself I'm only one person, reminding myself that I can't do everything all at once, and that sometimes I do have to take a step back and take my own advice, even if I'm kicking and screaming of taking my own advice. Full transparency.
I love to ask that question because I'm still trying to figure out what works.
I think we all are. I there are some times where I tell myself, "Oh, this isn't working," or
Yeah.
I need to remind myself, "Okay, what do I have? What can I leverage, and where do I need to kind of fill in the gaps? Or sometimes where can I ask for help, right?" And so I'm really grateful that my husband is very supportive, and he really reminds me of the work that I'm doing sometimes, even when people are people and people are frustrating because ego gets involved sometimes. And so he just reminds me to, again, come back to myself when things don't look like they're moving, we have to remind ourselves that sometimes a tree doesn't always know it's growing.
For sure.
And so what you plant today, you may not see the flower tomorrow or see the tree tomorrow, but
Yeah.
just remind yourself that you're still moving in a good direction and you still have a path forward.
Well, it's good to have people in your life do that for you. They share those things with you, those pearls of wisdom, and kind of get you to see all that you're doing and to slow down as
Yeah.
well. Speaking of great people like that, we have our LLI sisters listening. Shout out to Roxy Rios and Grace as well. I saw her. She was tuning in. Any other things that you want to share with our listeners that you want them to know?
Yeah, I would remind others that no one is truly self-made. No one is truly an overnight success. We're all community made in one way, shape, or form. You are loved far more than you think you are, and you have such a bigger support system than you think you are. Oftentimes we are doing work like this and we can feel alone, but we're not. And so just wanted to remind others that you are not alone, you are loved, and you are always worthy.
I love that. Tell our listeners how they can find you and get in contact with you for your services.
For sure. So you can find me at my website, coachtmg.com. And you can also find me on LinkedIn at Tiffany Galvan.
Awesome.
Or at the Manchild 210 for bourbon syrup.
Yeah. Tell us again about that syrup. One more time.
At the Manchild 210 on Instagram or Facebook.
Who thought of
Bourbon
that name?
Pancake Syrup. So my
At
husband,
the Man-Child.
my husband decided to just own who he is. So very similar to how I remind other people to own who they are. He decided to reclaim that term, the
Look
man
at Big
child.
Boy.
Yes, big boy, right? Like he decided to claim that term, the man child, and own who he is. And so this syrup is for all people who just want to have fun but also enjoy really good syrup. It's also really good if you do like Brussels sprouts with bacon.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It's so good. Or some people put it over steak, on their sweet potatoes. Like I said, I love it in coffee, and it's just so good. It's so versatile.
Wow. Man, you know, between all the things that you do, what do you do to make time for you?
Sometimes I force myself to make time for me. If that means stopping in the morning to just give myself a little bit of grace, or stopping at the computer if I feel like I'm really stuck on a grant or stuck on a campaign that I'm working on, then I have to just take a step away from the computer. I will love on my kittens. I have 2. I will go outside. I have chickens who are not always the nicest. They're really characters. They're funny. So I'll go outside sometimes. I'll feed the chickens. I'll spend time with my husband. I'll spend time with my family. You know, you have to make time that is going to fill your soul, because we are not workhorses. we are people. We are humans, and we have to take time to take care of ourselves and to do what's needed. Even if you just stop and force yourself to take lunch, even if you stop and force yourself to eat breakfast, all of those little moments add to big things. And when you take those moments of reprieve, that's when true breakthrough happens.
I love that. And I love how inspiring you are, because I'm sure you do it to others. You'll send us little messages, you know, just throughout the day. They're encouraging words, whether you're having a bad day or you just want to remind us of the bad asses that we are, right?
Yes.
I think that's awesome. I think more people need to do that for each other. I try to do that as well to my friends and my colleagues, and let them know, like, girl, I see you, or, you know, my male friends as well that are out there making a really big difference in their community. And, you know, I think leaders need to hear that. They need to hear the acknowledgement and the nice words and the encouragement, because we're out there doing that all the time for people, and people we don't know.
Right.
So it's nice to have people like yourself in my life.
Well, I am so blessed to have you in my life too, and I'm just so grateful to know you and get to see all the amazing work that you're doing, as well
Thank
of
you.
also uplifting voices who aren't always given the platform. And so I'm just so grateful to know you, and so grateful to have amazing leaders like you and amazing lights like you in my life.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much to all who have tuned in to today's show. I am April Monterosa, the publisher of Live from the Southside magazine. Be sure to connect with me on all social media platforms at April May Media and Southside SATX, and I will see you next week.
We gotta pause the Tejano for just a few. But don't go anywhere. Más éxitos Tejanos en unos cuantos minutos. Only here on San Antonio's KLMO. KLMO, Tejano 98.9 and 92.1 FM.
What would you do if you won a big jackpot? Buy a new car. Take a vacation. Pay off your house. Turn your dreams into reality at Texas' premier entertainment destination, Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino Hotel in Eagle Pass, Texas.
KLMO 98.9 FM and 92.1 FM inside Big Boys Block Tuesday, November 7th. Don't miss out, 3 p.m. straight up. KLMO artist AJ Castillo stops on by to say hi inside Big Boys Block Tuesday, November 7th on KLMO 98.9 FM and 92.1 FM.
Tengo tiempo que busco un amor para sentir como lo hiciste tú, pero no encuentro nadie como tú. Es por eso que hoy vengo a pedirte que vuelvas otra vez conmigo. Quiero que vuelvas a mis brazos otra vez. Quiero probar tus besos dulces como miel. Quiero que vuelvas a mis brazos otra vez. Porque con nadie me siento como cuando estoy contigo. Ahora lo comprendo que tu amor yo necesito. Quiero que vuelvas a mis brazos otra vez. Quiero probar tus besos dulces como miel. Quiero que vuelvas a mis brazos otra vez. Porque con nadie me siento como cuando estoy contigo. Ahora lo comprendo que tu amor yo necesito. Hoy me arrepiento que me fui de ti y vengo a pedirte perdón porque sin tu amor no puedo ser feliz. Quiero que vuelvas a mis brazos otra vez. Quiero probar tus besos dulces como miel. Quiero que vuelvas a mis brazos otra vez. Porque con nadie me siento como cuando estoy contigo. Ahora lo comprendo que tu amor yo necesito. Quiero que vuelvas a mis brazos otra vez. Quiero probar tus besos dulces como miel. Quiero que vuelvas a mis brazos otra vez. Porque con nadie me siento como cuando estoy contigo. Ahora lo comprendo que tu amor yo necesito. Quiero que vuelvas a mis brazos otra vez.
We're not the oldie station. We're KLMO. Giving you all of yesterday, today, and tomorrow's favorite Tejano. This is your Tejano Music Connection. This is KLMO. We are San Antonio. We are KLMO. KLMO, Tejano 98.9 and 92.1 FM.
algún pretexto para llamarte. Nadie lo entenderá que aunque tú me engañaste, yo te sigo pendiente. Tú es fácil de olvidar, muy difícil comprender lo que tú me hiciste. Tengo una nueva cicatriz en un nudo de mi voz que tengo que disimular. Me estoy perdiendo en el abismo, me estoy quedando más atrás, por la orilla de la vida, ahí me encontrarás. Me estoy perdiendo en el abismo, me estoy quedando más atrás. No es porque quiero que vuelvas, sino porque te extraño más. No es fácil de olvidar, muy difícil comprender lo que tú me hiciste. Tengo una nueva cicatriz en un nudo de mi voz que tengo que disimular. Me estoy perdiendo en el abismo, me estoy quedando más atrás, por la orilla de la vida, ahí me encontrarás. Me estoy perdiendo en el abismo, me estoy quedando más atrás. No es porque quiero que vuelvas, sino porque te extraño más. Te extraño más, te extraño más, te extraño más.
Music for today's Tejano.
Non-stop.
We are KLMO.
My station.
A Lopez Broadcasting Station.
Tejano corre por mis venas, es un orgullo que nadie me puede quitar. Aunque mi estilo es diferente, la tradición de mi familia en mí seguirá. Quiero alcanzar las estrellas, un éxito quiero ser y transitar por nuevos caminos y elevar en nuestra onda a otro nivel. Si un día me escucho en la radio, será un sueño realizado para mí. Yo sé que vienen cosas buenas, por eso seguiré adelante hasta el fin. Quiero alcanzar las estrellas, un éxito quiero ser y transitar por nuevos caminos
Broadcasting from the seventh largest city in the United States of America, San Antonio, the capital of Tejano music. This is KLMO 98.9, Gilly, San Antonio, and K221GF 921 in San Antonio. KLMO, Tejano 98.9 and 92.1 FM. We are San Antonio, a Lopez Broadcasting Station.
Every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on KLMO 98.9 FM and 92.1 FM from San Antonio, Texas, and heard worldwide on our radio ads. So here he is, the radio legend, Mr. Placido Salazar. And here's Placido.
How did you know I was here this morning, sir? All right, good morning. Buenos días, les saluda su servidor Plácido Salazar. Les recordamos que este es un programa pagado. Los comentarios que escuche dentro de este programa no necesariamente representan el punto de vista de los propietarios o la gerencia de esta emisora. Son simplemente mis comentarios o los comentarios de las personas que nos visitan. This is a paid program. The point of view that you might hear during this show do not necessarily represent the point of view of the owners or the managers of this station. They are simply my comments and the comments of our guest this morning. And this morning we have a great lineup of visitors, none other than three state legislators. So we'll be talking about that. In the meantime, this show is brought to you courtesy of Attorney Michael de la Paz. Si sufrió un accidente, no lo piense más, hable con Michael de la Paz. Michael de la Paz has more than 27 years experience representing victims of accidents against commercial vehicles or even private vehicles. So he's got plenty of experience to be your representative. In the meantime, do not sign any documents at the scene of the accident. Unless they're going to give you a ticket, of course you have to sign that, or otherwise they're going to take you to jail, and then you might have to bond out. But in the meantime, do not sign any documents presented to you by an insurance adjuster or whatever. Tell them, I want to talk to my attorney, Michael de la Paz. No necesita dinero. You do not need any money to talk to attorney Michael de la Paz. Simply call him at area 210-225-4878. 210-225-4878. El abogado Michael de la Paz. No lo piense más, hable con Michael de la Paz al teléfono 210-225-4878. 210-225-4878. And I know that right about now you are getting hungry. Well, not to worry. We invite you para que vayan a comer, a desayunar a el restaurante Flor de Chiapas Mexican Restaurant, 1045 Bandera Road, 1045 de la calle Bandera, por la calle Bandera, unas 2 cuadras más acá de la calle Woodlawn. Y por allá en el east side, por allá en el northeast side, está el San Luis Mexican Restaurant. El San Luis Mexican Restaurant, 4455 de la calle Walsham, 4455 Walsham, en medio del IH-35 en Austin Highway, con los más ricos platillos mexicanos. Y para el menudo, nadie nos gana. Les invitamos, nada más pregúntenle a Big Boy. He's pretty active in that area over there at El San Luis Mexican Restaurant. Right on, Big Boy?
Yes, sir.
You're there every when?
Damn, oh man, like every other Saturday. When I'm done. I get my chile relleno fixed. That's the best place to get chile relleno.
You just sit there and say, fill it up.
Fill it.
All right. Okay. Buenos días. Les saludamos a nuestras invitadas para el día de hoy. We have 3 great, beautiful women that are doing a great job of representing your special interest in Austin, Texas, at the state capitol. The first one, Miss Josie Garcia.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. And you represent which area of town?
I represent House District 124. It's by SeaWorld, Lackland Air Force Base. We're one of the most condensed districts, one of the smallest districts, and we're on the far west side.
Okay. And then we have Miss Barbara Gervin Hawkins.
Name sounds familiar to me.
Oh yeah. Everybody think of me as the Iceman's sister. He's really my brother.
That's what they tell me. Oh, you're the sheriff's dad? No, he's my son.
Yes. So you feel my pain.
Yeah, well, that's what my wife told me, that he was my son. So she's deceased now, rest in peace. But, of course, when Javier was born, she told me that he was my son, so I have to take her word for it. Okay. In the meantime, I supported him until he was 18, 19 years old, so he's my son. All right, and then we have Miss
Campos, State Representative for House District 119.
House District 119. Súbele un poquito al micrófono, big boy. Can you turn up the volume there? Well, let's see. Oh, say, can you see by the mic's early light? Okay. Yeah, Miss Liz Campos. And Miss Liz, which area do you represent?
I represent the south side of San Antonio through the southeast up to the northeast.
Okay.
Yes.
And let me tell you, you guys are doing a great job. And of course that, that's why you were elected in the first place. But then when you have to deal with racist individuals in Austin that are calling the shots and wasting so much of our taxpayers' money, you have your work cut out for you. So who would like to be first in telling us about the situation that you are facing at the state capitol?
Well, I think it would be great to allow our Lady Dean of Bexar County, Barbara Hawkins. Yes.
Great, thank you. You know, Lady Dean, for those of you who don't know, the individual who has the most seniority is called the Dean. And so I am truly the Lady Dean, even though we have our Dean of our overall legislative, and that is Trey Martinez Fisher. But also I represent District 120, which is the east side and northeast side of San Antonio. It is very difficult being in the minority because what happens is, and particularly when we're dealing with a mean majority, and when I say mean, I'm talking about individuals who don't respect the fact that we were duly elected just like themselves, and they're not hearing what we need and what our constituents need. It's a challenge, but it's something that we're all up for the challenge, and we're willing to deal with it. And so with my colleagues, I mean, we fight the good fight. We listen to everyone, and we try to work with everyone. But the reality is people need to get out and vote, Palacio. That's just the way it is.
Well, that, that comment has been made before that we are the minority, but in effect, we are the majority. But the problem is that only a minority of our majority actually give a darn about getting out to vote. They decide to stay home. For example, in the last election, when what's his name from El Paso?
Beto O'Rourke.
Yeah, Beto.
Beto O'Rourke.
Beto O'Rourke. It would take somebody from El Paso to remember all that. El Chuco.
Chuco, baby.
But I understand that over 11 million eligible voters from Texas did not bother to vote.
Palacio, that's a challenge for us, but one of the things I've looked at is the why. And one of the things I believe is the why is our folks have lost hope because they're seeing how things are going. Our society, our environment in Texas is changing. So many of our folks have lost hope. We've got to start a new movement to give our people hope again so they can see the importance of them getting out voting.
Yeah, I think that giving them hope would be a kick in the behind to get out and vote.
Agreed.
I mean, let's be realistic. Understand that if you do not get out to vote, because there's a saying, at least among Mexican American people, todos son iguales, everybody's the same. Well, when you do not bother to get off your behind and vote, that's when the bad apples get into power. Not only in Austin, but in Washington, D.C. also.
And we got to express to people that the reality is our forefathers died for us to have an opportunity to vote. Our vote is truly our voice. And if they get out and vote, we can show them we can make a difference.
Exactly. So Tell me something, Miss Liz, about what has been going on in the past. Well, this is what, 2 sessions already that Idiot Face has gone.
This is the third session.
Third session.
This is the third session. And so I want to reiterate what Representative Hawkins, Barbara Hawkins said, that we need to give people hope, and that's what we're trying to do. The ladies, we get together and Barbara has been having some amazing power breakfasts on different types of issues, whether it's homelessness or just letting people know what's going on. And I think we need to do more of that. All of us need to come together, because it's unfortunate that so many people have lost hope and they don't believe in us, because they just don't see that we're doing enough. And so I don't know how we need to do it, but we're doing the best that we can to come together and stay involved in our community. And the three of us really do that on a regular basis. And so we just want everyone to know that we're there for you. Barbara has a great saying that, she says, if you don't ask, we don't know. So pick up the phone and call us, and we're gonna connect you if you need something, whether it's a city issue, whether it's a county issue. No matter what it is, know that you can count on the ladies of Bexar County to be there for you. We're gonna do everything that we can to help our communities. In addition to that, we're gonna continue the fight, which we all know. First we had the property taxes. Now the immigration bills last week were horrible. I mean, we were there till 4 o'clock in the morning, and I just can't even believe that we're dealing with that. Like, they've already taken away our voting rights. I mean, they just want to strip us of our democracy, which is not right. And so now we're dealing with the vouchers, which is a huge deal, and we're definitely, all three of us are against the vouchers. We are a no to vouchers, and so that's what I think the fourth session is definitely going to be about, because the governor is adamant that he wants to pass this bill. And it's extremely difficult, because it's just hard. We just keep getting beat up at the House.
Right.
And until people get out and vote and we get more Democrat legislators, it's just not going to happen.
But, regardless, whatever the Democrats or with some Republicans might vote on, when it gets to Governor Abbott's desk, he's going to veto it. So you're spinning your wheels, in effect, but that spinning of the wheels is costing taxpayers a lot of money. And then going back to what Representative Hawkins said, that people are losing hope. Well, the fact that you're losing hope goes directly to you. Why? Because you did not bother to vote. And if you do not vote, then who are you going to complain to? Let's hear from Ms. Jones.
I also think that we need to put the message out there, and we need, when we're out there talking to individuals and when we're out there block walking, we need to explain to individuals, this abortion bill passed because we are not the majority. And the only way that we're going to become the majority is if you get out and vote. And I think we need to message that about the abortion bill, about the voucher bill, about everything that we've been dealing with. And I don't think that the messaging is good enough, and we need to get better at it.
Okay. Let's hear from Air Force veteran, Miss Josie Garcia. All right.
Sir. Well,
what can you tell us, Miss Josie?
Well, this is my very first year as a legislator. Before this, I was an activist. And I've learned a lot this session. And I think one thing that we don't know as a community is how the process works. And that's one thing that I'm really grateful as a new legislator with the partnership that we have as the Bexar County Legislative Ladies is, along with Rep. Gervin Hawkins' Power Breakfast, we're able to bring Austin to San Antonio. We're able to explain to people who don't understand the process like I didn't a year ago. We're able to explain how it works and how to be involved. And we saw that a lot this year with advocacy. A lot of our community advocates came to Austin and advocated for various initiatives, even with the immigration bill. It's very heartbreaking when we got called back for this third special session to address immigration, of course, it's something that needs to be addressed. We're on the border of Mexico. There are refugees that are coming in the thousands. But why? Why? Because the United States of America has been built on the back of immigrants. This is the place, the land of freedom, the land of opportunity. But the process is broken. And because of that, we see our counterparts on the floor who are on the Republican side villainizing us as Latinos and black folks. And we have to stop that, because all of us have a link to an immigrant family one way or another, whether we come from immigrants ourselves.
Including the Republicans.
Including the Republicans, most definitely. And that's something that we really needed to remind them of. And so when we advocate against these horrible bills, which I do want to stress, some of the legislation that was passed criminalizes children who are carrying backpacks. A brown child who is carrying a backpack is now probable cause to stop and frisk and ask for papers. This is the real life results of us not being present and ready to vote and ready to flip the House from a Republican to a Democratic House, because we're missing out on the human aspect of addressing these very serious issues.
Right. Now, they keep saying, well, we have an open border because Biden has an open border policy. Well, wait a damn minute. That border has always been open for thousands of years. Only some racist idiot like our present governor would dare to put barbed wire along there, and those buoys, which have resulted in human beings being killed. Isn't that a crime that is being committed by our governor and lieutenant governor and that other idiot, whatever his, I can never remember his, Paxton. I can never remember his name. But those are idiots that are in there because too many of our people did not bother to vote. They did not think the damage that they were going to do to the democracy, but also to their pocketbook. You know?
But Palacio, one of the things that's important that folks, that your listeners today must understand, let's call the bill what it is, not just the anti-immigration. Let's call it the show me your papers. So your listeners today need to know this. If you're carrying grandma and grandpa around and they don't have papers, they can haul them off.
Exactly.
They can give you a fine, take you to jail, but haul them off and take them anywhere. This is fearful. Folks need to know, my Hispanic brothers and sisters need to know, you can't even take your cousins anywhere without being stopped. That's a problem.
Right. Well, again, it goes back to the same thing that our people did not get out to vote, and that's why we have to put up with racist decisions like that, that only people like Abbott and Dan Patrick, with 3 Ks at the end, and Paxton, that can only come up with decisions like that. You know, we have fought so hard to get rid of racism. You know, I get invited as a motivational speaker at several universities, although I'm a 10th grade dropout. I don't tell them that. If they don't ask, don't tell them. But, but I remind them of those signs that we all faced. You know, we're all senior enough, educated enough to remember those signs that were at most public places. No dogs, no niggers, no Mexicans. Okay. And I tell them, you know, most everybody knows that dogs cannot read. So why are they putting dogs at the top? To denigrate us.
Correct.
You know, that's the only purpose. So little by little, there were civil rights leaders whom we owe a lot of our freedom to that sacrificed. Some of them got beat up. Some of them got thrown in jail, etc., to fight for us. And it seems like many of us have forgotten those issues, those acts of violence that they had to face in order to reestablish our freedom. You know, so what is it gonna take? What is it gonna take to remember, to remind our people that those are acts of racism are coming right back. So what do we need to do? We need to encourage everybody to get out and vote. The next election, of course, well, we have an election going on right now for local, it's a local election. I went and voted yesterday. But the big one is going to be, the primary is going to be in March.
March.
Okay. Do any of you face re-election in March?
We all
We all
come up
face-
for election.
We all do.
Uh-huh. So, therefore, we have, you know, a lot of people say, well, we need to replace this, and that. Wait a minute. Why replace them? You know, they are doing their best under very adverse conditions with a racist governor that's going to veto everything that they are able to bring up and to pass the legislation. So why do you want to replace them when we need representatives in there with longevity? Longevity is the whole thing, and that's why Miss Barbara Hawkins is the dean, right? Because of your longevity.
Seniority is key. And one of the things, because you're able to be in positions to make some decisions, what's also important, I think we've got to let people know, is that when our local Democratic Party is fighting one another and throwing stones and dirty water on each other, it weakens us. We've got to stop that nonsense. I think one of the things we've got to call upon our Democratic Party to do is start finding out more of what the issues are, and let's focus on the issues, and let's help folks that are in office so that we can get that seniority and make sure we're moving the ball, at least locally.
Right.
But as you know, Palacio, our party is split, and that's bad.
Definitely, especially here in Bexar County, it's so fragmented. But you know the thing about it, one good thing about it, if there is something good to come out of it, the Republican Party in Bexar County is also very fragmented, and I heard that because you know our program, our show, is open to everybody, whether it's Democrat, Republican, or whatever. You know, we invite them to come in and talk about their point of view. And the last time that we had a Republican leader here, he mentioned that unfortunately the Republican Party here in Bexar County is also fragmented. Why is that going on? I don't know. But we don't worry about the Republican Party. Let's worry about the Democratic Party and making sure that we bring everybody together. And I know that all of you have been holding town hall meetings in your effort to bring the party together. We must come together or fall individually.
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to say that the three of us have had, you know, difficult times, and I know when I first decided to run, it was really hard. But I knew that I was doing it for the right reasons. I knew I was doing it for all Texans, but especially for my community, because I've lived there my entire life, and I know that there's a lot of change that needs to be.
When you hit the table, it sounds like you're swinging the gavel in there.
Oh boy, do I want to swing that gavel.
I know, I don't blame you.
But you know, so we really, really need to come together and put personal issues aside. You know, during campaigns, you get beat up, it happens, but when you get into a campaign, you know that that's going to happen. And you need to know that if you lose, it's okay. But if you win, you can't be a sore winner. So then you just got to be open to everyone. And I think me and the ladies of Bexar County have done that. We have an open door policy for everyone. We want to help to the best of our ability, in addition to everything that we deal with in Austin. And it is not hard. It is not easy. It's so hard what we have to deal with, because sometimes we feel like we have to let our pride down. We have to bow down just so that we can get a bill passed. But we do it, and we're open to do it, and we do it with honor, and we do it, and we're strong about it. So then when we come home and we're getting beat up from our own party, that is just not right. We need to come together. We need to put our personal issues aside. We need to let bygones be bygones, and we need to move forward, and we need to be stronger. And together we definitely are stronger. And so I'm glad that we're having these conversations, because it's really important that we just stay strong.
In other words, it's important to reach across the aisle, you know, because not all Republicans and not all Democrats not all Republicans are bad, or not all Democrats are good. So we have to reach a point of equal belief in order to get things done, and that's what you guys are doing.
And Austin is completely different from the district, and so that's why we try to have those conversations and let our district know how hard it is for us to work in Austin. It's not easy because we are not the majority, and so we just really need to stress to individuals how hard it is. I mean, I got 18 bills passed the House. I've got 6 that went into law. Unfortunately, 1 got vetoed. You know how hard that was? To have to just bow down and ask the Republicans to please vote on my bill because it's good. Like, it's a lot of work. But I'm open to doing it, and I'm going to continue to work hard for everyone.
Right. Now, you have a very, very active manager on your side. Your staff.
My chief of staff.
Chief of staff, yeah.
Manuel Medina. The mastermind.
He's
Yes.
a fighter.
He's a fighter. And so him and I, and actually, we're all friends. He helps Barbara, he helps Josie, he helps me, and he is a wonderful support. I mean, I don't know what I would do without him. He's brilliant. He helps us, but more than anything, he supports us. He's our friend, and so I think all the ladies will vouch to that.
And he's committed to the party.
Yeah.
One of the things that's been so important about Manuel Medina is that even after not being the chair, he is dedicated to the Democratic Party. He believes in the Democratic values, and that's why we work with him and will continue to work with him because of where he stands. My hope is that the entire party realize, let's set our issues aside. And one of the things I want to be clear, unity doesn't mean we're just one and we all got to walk down the same street and believe in the same thing. But unity is about a single purpose, and we've got to work towards that purpose, and that is strengthening our party so that we can get things done. These ladies, my colleagues, have done so much good for the community in terms of the bills that they've got across. Think about it. We've got the Freshman of the Year of the Democratic Caucus. We've got an individual who's passing bills that's making sure that our Health and Human Services is strengthened. So we've got some good stuff. So when we hear locally that the party is trying to set up various things, that's hurtful to us all. My hope is moving forward that we can unify as a party and we can get a lot more done together. Thank you.
Well, and we have to stress that the dean lady, she's on appropriations. Like, what more could you ask for to have her on appropriations because of her seniority? So to even think about having somebody run against her is unfair. We can't go backwards. We got to move forward.
Right. Now, the appropriations position is the one that handles the dinero?
Yes, and see, I'll tell you, Placia, I've been blessed. I'm on appropriation, which we set the budget, and I'm also on Ways and Means where we collect revenue. So because of my seniority, that's where I'm at. But I use those positions very strategically in the sense I want to make sure that Bexar County is taken care of, no doubt the state of Texas, but especially Bexar County.
As she says, she brings home the bacon. and I think that's super important, especially when we all come together. We don't always agree on everything, believe it or not. There's some times where, the way Josie's community feels about something is different from the way that Liz and Barbara's feels about something. But at the end of the day, we always come together and we discuss it and say, how is this going to affect our community? How does this affect Bexar County? Now, we're not always picking the same votes. We're not. But what we do is we understand why it doesn't work for one of our districts or the other. And I think that's really important as well, because to be unified, it doesn't mean to be at the exact in lockstep. It means to have a mutual respect and understanding of the issues.
Stay focused on the needs of the people.
That's right. Okay. Single purpose.
Now, as a taxpayer, and I know there's a lot of issues that it would take about 3 days instead of 30 minutes to discuss. But as a taxpayer, as a homeowner, one thing that is really broken or intentionally broken by again Mr. Abbott. Well, I won't even call him Mr. By Abbott. That on the home valuation, it's to me it's like economic gentrification, where they are trying to push out people out of their homes by raising and raising and raising their property. Like in my case, my home, the last one that I received here recently, they valued my home at $325,000. It's not a palace. It's just a simple 3-bedroom home with 2 baths in it, and so, but they're valuing, they're putting a value on it like it's a palace, and it's like in the middle of the ritzy neighborhood. It's not. It's just a common neighborhood.
Well, but also I do want to correct something though. The governor doesn't set the values. Okay, what has happened that we have to be aware of? The buyers from New York and California has increased the values because they will buy the house next door or down the street from you, and they would put a little paint on it, and then they'll sell it. So there's a game going on, and I am frightened because a lot of my seniors in my district are dealing with the same thing. So we've got to look out for those individuals when we're selling these homes to these investment groups. They're the ones who are shooting up the value. So when you look at the process the state puts in, they do an average and they do certain things, but we're not establishing the value. The investors have done that, and we've got to be aware of that, and those are the things I'm concerned about.
But at the end of the day, who signs those documents?
Well, let me just say this. The value is the market, is driven by the market. So it's a combination, but like you said, this is a discussion I think we need to have so that everybody can understand. So we need to protest our values. We need to use our system. We did a $100,000 homestead exemption this year. So I think everybody should, on average, should save about $1,300 this year in school property tax. So I think there's some things we need to do. But even though we're in the minority, if we work together on issues, we can resolve some of them.
Right. Now, in all fairness, as a 100% service-connected disabled veteran, I'm exempt, from paying property tax. Okay, that's fine. And thanks to a guy named Placido Salazar, before the tax exemption, when the veteran died, the exemption would die. But at a rally, or what do you call it? A meeting that we had with then Senator Leticia Van de Putte and then Senator Carlos Ureste, I suggested, well, the wife also served, because whenever we had to be away from home, the spouse had to take over. So I would suggest, I make a motion that the tax exemption, when the veteran passes, that exemption should be passed on to the surviving spouse. And it became law with 82% of the vote. But still, if we don't fight the valuation every year, we need to fight it every year, because if not, then the property value or the price that they put on it keeps rising sky high. So what happens when both the veteran and the spouse pass, and a family member becomes the owner? Then they have to start paying the property tax at such an elevated, and of course, very few would be able to afford that. So what happens? The house has got to be foreclosed on. So that's why I keep fighting on that issue.
The other thing that I want to bring up that people don't talk about is that I think we need to work closer with the Bureau Appraisal. And we need to have those conversations, because I know that I've had them, because they just need to be more involved in the community, and rather than looking at the comparables when houses are being sold, they need to go out and they need to look at the areas, they need to look at the districts, and they need to work a little bit harder rather than just going by whatever's on paper. They need to. So, I think that we just need to work more with the Bureau Appraisal.
But I've had the tax appraiser here, on my show, and they, I have two of them here, but they point their finger at the legislators.
Yep. They do. I've had them out quite a bit. And they say, and they're right to a degree. But again, the people we're not looking at is the investors. The New York and the California people have come to a land of milk and honey when they came to Texas. They've never had such big houses, such pieces of land for the cost. They're the ones running at the price. The way we do that is stop buying these homes at $300,000 and $400,000 that we know Grandma Joe or Grandma Martinez only pays $60,000 for. So that's what we've got to. Let's get our eye on the right ball, and that's the investment pool, not just the law and not just the things that the appraiser is doing, but let's stop and put some legal protections from these investors. I would like to freeze the values so that they can only go up so much.
You hit it right on the nail. That needs to be frozen, you know.
Yes.
You know, when I came back from Vietnam and Thailand, I bought my house for $11,500. $11,500. The fencing around it, $125. So now that property is being evaluated at $350,000, something like that, you know.
Well,
And so
I will tell you, I put a bill in this past session so that we could cap the appraisal. And of course, it didn't go anywhere. So it's just one other thing that we put these bills in, and because we're not the majority, they don't go anywhere. But trust me, all of us are working for the betterment of our communities. And if we can't get legislation passed, let's work together. Let's work with the Bear Appraisal. Let's work with the county. And let's stop pointing the finger, because we can get things done. I know we can, because we've done it.
right. So have you introduced a legislation to freeze the value of the home?
Yeah, so Senator Menendez had put forth legislation, Representative Bernal and myself, as well as Representative Campos. We've talked about how we take care of our legacy homeowners. We know that some value has to go up because the cost of living goes up. We get that.
Right.
But we believe we should take care of our legacy homeowners. And so I would say let's work together this session. Let's hear from our listeners about input that they would have on this so that we can work on a piece of legislation this upcoming session about property values and how we can do those protections.
Okay. Aside from voicing their opinion, which I'm pretty good at, what would you suggest again that the listeners need to do?
So my call to action to the listeners is simply this. If you've got ideas of how we should handle the property taxes, then put forth those ideas. Palacio, I'm not for the whining and the crying. What I'm for is resolution. How do we resolve these challenging issues that we have? And a lot of times people say, y'all need to fix it. Y'all the legislators. No, we need input from our constituents. We together can do this. And I think by folks getting out to vote, making sure that even if we don't take the majority, let's at least increase our numbers. So the other thing I would say is that there's 2 seats that we believe we can obtain in this upcoming legislative session. Let's get those seats back. Why did we lose the Pacheco seat? Why did we lose that? Okay? The more votes we have, the bigger our voice. Once we become the majority, we can make some things happen. So listeners, get your butt out, take your family, take your friends, take your neighbors, and make a commitment to make sure that we increase our vote tally. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Well, I want to thank you all so much. I know that you have to go to another engagement, and I kept you a little bit too long, but it's hard to calm people down like I have managed to to ruffle some feathers here.
No. Really? Not you.
Well, we got to keep the feathers ruffled, honestly. And another call to action would be, if you're upset and you don't like the bills that are being presented in the House now, call those representatives that are behind them. We need to call the far-right opposition and call their office, inundate them with how they're affecting our community. They have to hear from community members. And when you have 100 folks from Bexar County showing up and knocking on their door at the Capitol and saying, hey, these harmful bills are hurting our community, you know, you have a better chance of changing hearts and minds at that point. And, you know, we've seen that happen on the floor as well, to where we've had votes come up that were really hateful votes, and at first they were all lockstep, but through testimony, through amendments, we're actually able to change the hearts and minds of some of our, especially some of our delegation mates, who are far right, and they come and said, you know what, you're right. Our Bexar County community is impacted in a different way from this. So there has been opportunity for us to make those small wins, but we need you to do it. We need you all to show up and show them that Bexar County has a voice.
Exactly. I used to be a frequent pain in the behind over there in Austin, but you know, because of my mobility problems and the difficulty in finding parking and all that, you know, that's wheelchair accessible, it's almost impossible to do that. So I've had to withdraw somewhat, but I'm still very active in trying to get the vote out, especially through this show. So thank you so much for being here with us, and let this not be the last time. I invite you to come back as soon as this so-called special session is over, and this idiot governor stops wasting our taxpayer money. We'd like to have you back.
We'd love to. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless. God bless. And go at it. Give him hell. All right. Right on KLMO 98.9 y 92.1 desde San Antonio, Texas, seguro que sí. Les recordamos que este programa llega a ustedes por cortesía del abogado Michael de la Paz. God bless. Thank you. Ándale, dale gas. Seguro que sí. Este programa llega a ustedes por cortesía del abogado Michael de la Paz. Seguro que sí. Si sufrió un accidente, no lo piense más, hable con el abogado Michael de la Paz al teléfono 210-225-4878. 210-225-4878. No necesita dinero para hablar con el abogado Michael de la Paz. No necesita un centavo. You do not need any money to talk to attorney Michael de la Paz. And you do need a good attorney on your side, and that's what Michael de la Paz is. In the meantime, if you have an accident, heaven forbid, do not sign any documents there that would jeopardize your right. Come on in. That would jeopardize your entitlement to whatever you might be able to receive as a result of a settlement. Right there in the middle would be fine.
Oh, in the middle?
Yeah, yep. Okay. So talk to attorney Michael de la Paz. Tell him, no, I want to talk to my attorney. Do not accept anybody, because then again, you are jeopardizing your case. Hable con Michael de la Paz al teléfono 210-225-4878. Ahora, para el mejor desayuno, les recomiendo Flor de Chiapas Mexican Restaurant. En el, ¿qué es un momentito, let me check. Es el 1045 Bandera Road. Ahora, yo sé cómo llegar allí, pero se me olvida la dirección porque no, como ya sé a dónde ir y a qué horas llegar, pues ya sé. Para la mejor comida mexicana, el mejor desayuno, visítenos ahorita mismo en Flor de Chiapas Mexican Restaurant, 1045 Bandera Road, un poquito más adelante de la calle Woodlawn. Para el menudo, nadie nos gana. Y por allá en el Northeast Side, allá en la calle Waltham, está el San Luis Mexican Restaurant. El San Luis Mexican Restaurant en el 4455 de la calle Waltham. 4455 Waltham, a mediación del IH-35 y en la calle Austin Highway. Visíteles y dígales, lo escuché con Plácido y con
Big Boy.
Hi, Big Boy. How you doing, Big Boy?
Oh, I'm doing great, man.
Okay,
doing
bueno.
great. That last segment was pretty good.
¿Mande?
That last segment was pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
Great. Está bueno. Okay. Bueno, let me see. Just go ahead and pull that mic in front of you so we can see. And we have the pleasure of chatting with
Ana Uriegas Bustamante.
Ana
Ana
Bustamante.
Bustamante.
Uriegas,
Ana Uriegas Bustamante.
Uriegas.
Y el día de hoy también nos visita otro gran amigo, don
Emilio Peña.
Emilio Peña. Ana Uriegas Bustamante. How about that? All right, seguro que sí. Y este jueves, ¿verdad, Emilio? Van a tener este Commissioner Precinct 1 Candidate Forum. Puede ir a discutir y a escuchar qué es lo que representan los varios candidatos, pero mientras tanto, pues estamos platicando con la señorita Ana Uriegas Bustamante. Y este foro va a ser de las 6:30 a las 9 de la noche en el VFW Post 4815. VFW Post 4815, 3111 de la calle Commercial Avenue, allá en el sur de la ciudad. En el VFW que está por la calle Commercial, más allá del Loop 400, del Loop 13, seguro que sí, Military Drive. All right. La señorita Ana Bustamante cuenta con muchos años de experiencia. Hemos estado, no había tenido la oportunidad de conocerla, pero ahora sí me da mucho gusto conocerla y escuchar cuál es la información de su experiencia. A ver, ¿qué nos cuenta? Where have you been working here? Tell us about your experience.
Okay. I grew up in South Bend County, and
that's okay.
Okay, I grew up in South Bend County, and I went to Southside High School. I graduated from there, then I went off to college, and then after college, I came back and started teaching at Southside ISD. I am currently a Southside High School music teacher. I teach mariachi, and I am also a conjunto director, and I teach guitar, the method I teach is classical guitar. And so I've been there for at the high school level with 9th through 12th graders for the last 13 years. But my experience with a community outreach has been my honor and pleasure to serve in the Alamo College's Board of Trustees. And on that, I represent District 3, which includes all of South Bend County into San Antonio. It's mostly the rural area of the county and San Antonio.
Right.
And so on that Alamo Colleges board, we're the governing board for the 5 community colleges in San Antonio. And so the five colleges are San Antonio College, St. Philip's College, Northwest Vista, Northeast Lakeview, and Palo Alto College that's on the south side. So we deal with budget and tax rates and contracts, a lot of the issues that I understand that the Bexar County Commissioners Court oversees. It's very similar, and that's my experience.
There you go. You read my lips. All right. Gracias, Emilio. Gracias. Entonces, well, you have a lot of experience, so I'm glad that you're stepping up to the plate. And so what can you tell us about your plans when you get elected? What, in other words, what is not being done that you feel you can do?
Well, first of all, my whole life has revolved around service to my community. I have been a volunteer at my church, El Carmen Church. I do music ministry. I've been part of the choir. I play guitar and I sing there. And that everything that revolves around the church to raise money and make the lives to improve the lives of the folks in that community, which I've been very happy to do for so many years. And with the Alamo Colleges, I was able to also reach out a little further in my community by understanding what was needed in that area. And so one of the issues that's really important is that there's so many inconveniences out there, and schools are a little bit far for our students or our residents to travel to. So I advocated and worked together with my colleagues on the Alamo Colleges board, and we came through our bond in 2017 bond. We were able to advocate for a the Southside Education and Training Center that is now located in South Bexar County, right there close to the Southside High School. And they're going to be offering workforce training as well as a nursing program, which is an extension of Palo Alto, but a lot closer to the residents in that area and the surrounding communities, the surrounding towns like Somerset and Pleasanton, Lavernia, Floresville, etc. So we hope it'll serve all of those folks. That'll help them get some great learning experiences and job training. So, and in the county, what I've noticed, one of the issues that's very close to my heart is that there are no senior centers, senior citizen centers in that area, in the rural area. There are some, like one in Somerset and one, I believe, in Alamo Ranch, and then maybe at Harlandale Civic Center. But in the past, there was one at my church, El Carmen Catholic Church, but it closed because of lack of funding. And it was funded by the county. And also the church was trying to support it, but they were not able to have enough funds. So that broke my heart when it closed. And that's one issue that I want to champion.
Right.
That to make sure our senior citizens have somewhere to go. Because my mother used to go there, but then it closed and there was nowhere else. Everything else is too far. And transportation and all those issues. So that's one of the issues close to my heart. And also, like the health care disparities, for people wanting to visit their doctors or have to go to the hospital, it's pretty far away from some areas.
Right.
I know Precinct 1 for the county commissioners extends all the way to Alamo Ranch, where they do have, I guess it's a little closer to their hospitals or healthcare facilities, but when you go further south, and
Now,
to the,
I understand there's a new hospital coming in in the south side.
Yes. I believe it's going to be called Palo Alto Hospital. I don't know a lot about it, but I did read an article that stated that they were downsizing the number of beds. They were going to be, what was originally planned, that they were downsized to several hundred less.
Well, they're downsizing the facilities, but the people that live there are not being downsized, you know. So, come on now. Let's open that mind and remember that you might be downsizing the beds. That means that a lot of people that live in that area will not have a place to be treated at. Now, as far as the nursing program that you are advocating for, you've been employed in that regard, right?
No, it's part of Palo Alto College, the Southside Education Training Center. They'll be offering a nursing program, and so being on the governing board, we all supported that initiative there, and they're going to open, the nursing program opens in January.
Oh, I see.
In January, yes. And like it's on the second floor of the building, and on the first floor they're offering workforce training opportunities, because Navistar is down the road from there, and then there's Toyota is across the way, and so I'm assuming that is what they're going to be helping people get the training so that they can get these jobs. And also there is a huge factory down the road that is TJ Maxx as well.
And I've noticed that the South Side is growing by leaps and bounds. You know, I was out in that area to attend an event for Mr. Carlos Quesada.
Oh, yes.
And who's also a candidate for state representative. Yes. But I went over there and I noticed that the South Side is just exploding.
Yes.
You know, and so we need to be prepared to provide the services which they need in their community, not on the west side or the east side or the north side, but right there close to where they live.
Right.
And that's where you come in.
Yes, that's where I come in, and I hope that I'll be able to collaborate and convince folks that this is the right direction to take. And of course, I won't know exactly how I can accomplish that until I get right on to serve on the court. But with my experience on the Alamo Colleges board, It's very similar. It's very similar because it's all about collaboration and getting along with your fellow board members, which I've been successful at.
Great.
Mhm.
Well, we certainly wish you the very best in your campaign. Who is your campaign manager?
I don't have one at this time.
You don't have one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, yeah. With all the experience that you have, you probably don't need one.
Well, I think I do need one, but I am looking for that person. But I do have a lot of help from
Okay.
folks like Emilio Peña and the Tejano Democrats.
Right there is what the person that you need right there, Mr. Emilio Peña.
And then
Great friend of ours for many years.
And then I do have a group
and-
of folks that are helping
And
me.
his wife, Sylvia.
Oh, yes.
Olvídate. You
Absolutely.
got lots of help right there. So, and then, of course, they have a lot of fellow Democrats that are working hand in hand with them. Richard Gonzalez,
Yes.
Jose Arzola, and all those other people that have been rounding their wagons to get people elected to the particular offices that they are candidate for.
Mhm.
So we certainly wish you the very best.
Thank you very
of luck.
much. And I also want to thank KLMO that wished me a happy birthday on your Facebook page because my Conjunto students, they were invited to perform at the Tejano Recording Academy's awards because I am the only high school that offers a Conjunto class for credit. And so they invited my boys to perform there. And so thank you so much for those wishes. It was a very pleasant surprise to me and my students with that picture on there from when we were backstage at that
That's
event.
great. That's great. And
Yes.
when was that?
That was it was in May.
In May?
Last May, yes.
Okay. Well, again, thank you so much, and our best wishes on your candidacy. And we know that you are well prepared and hit the road running when you get elected.
Well, thank you, Mr. Salazar. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me here. And
We're honored.
it's been an honor.
We're
An honor
honored.
for me, too.
Thank you so much.
Well, you have a great day.
All right, thank you. Bueno, pues tenemos some massage here.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let's get it done.
Whoa, hey, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We want to share some info on some businesses you need to know. Why? Because they support Tejano music. So, let's support them. Back in a flash, right after this on KLMO.
Hey, do you need health insurance? Open enrollment begins November the 1st. That's right, open enrollment begins November the 1st. If you're in need or you want to find out if you qualify to save money on your monthly insurance premiums, call Central Med and enroll SA. Thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act, plans are more affordable than ever before. 4 out of 5 people qualify for plans $10 a month or less. $10 a month or less. To schedule a free appointment, call 210-977-7997. That's 210-977-7997. Or just visit enrollsa.com. Make sure you schedule for open enrollment today. Your health depends on you. This ad is paid for by the Federal Navigator Grant.
And now a message from Señor Plácido Salazar.
All right, seguro que ya es en español y en inglés. Si tiene hambrecita, pues nosotros tenemos la respuesta para usted. Le invitamos para que vaya ahorita mismo a Flor de Chiapas Mexican Restaurant con la más rica comida mexicana, el desayuno preparado a la perfección para usted, porque usted se merece lo mejor. Es por eso que le invitamos a Flor de Chiapas en el 1045 Valdera, y por allá en el Northeast Side está el San Luis Mexican Restaurant, 4455 de la calle Waltham. Seguro que sí. Ahora, si sufrió un accidente, no lo piense más, hable con el abogado Michael de la Paz. Michael de la Paz, con muchos años de experiencia representando víctimas de accidentes contra vehículos comerciales. Vamos a continuar con más programación después de la identificación de la estación. A ver qué fue entonces, usted o yo. ¡Oh, yo!
Broadcasting from the 7th largest city in the United States of America, San Antonio, the capital of Tejano music. This is KLMO 98.9, Gilly, San Antonio, and K221GF 921 in San Antonio. KLMO, Tejano 98.9 and 92.1 FM. We are San Antonio, a Lopez broadcasting station.
El programa de radio más grande del mundo. Todos los sábados de 10 de la mañana a 12 del mediodía en KLMO 98.9 FM y 92.1 FM desde San Antonio, Texas. Y se escucha en todo el mundo en nuestra aplicación de radio. Así que aquí está la leyenda de la radio, el señor Plácido Salazar. And here's Plácido.
All right, seguro que sí. Buenos días one more time. Right on, Cachatón. We have a great show for you, so stay tuned because if you're waiting for some good music, well, that's exactly what we specialize in. We have nothing but the greatest artists performing here in our studios, and this morning's show is brought to you by IH10 Realty. IH10 Realty. Si ya se cansó de pagar renta, pues no espere más. ¿Ha tenido el sueño de ser propietario de su propia casa? We have the answer for you. Well, Miss Sonia de la Garza Walker has the answer for you. Háblele a Sonia de la Garza Walker al teléfono 210-663-9706. 210-663-9706. Sonia de la Garza Walker, IH10 Realty, con bastante información para ayudarle a usted realizar su sueño de ser propietario de su propia casa. Háblele en estos momentos. Teléfono 210-663-9706. Y para el más rico pan mexicano, para los pasteles más hermosos, para su debut o boda o cualquier fecha especial, nada menos que Cinderella Bakery. Cinderella Bakery en la esquina de las calles Saltillo y Hamilton. Solamente hay una, y como Cinderella Bakery, ninguna. Los domingos tienen riquísima barbacoa y tamalitos, así como para chuparse los dedales. Y haga su pedido con tiempo. Place your order for tamales as soon as today to ensure that you have your tamales ready. Porque ya llegó el tiempo de friito, el tiempo de comer tamalitos con café calientito y ese pan dulce que siempre ha deseado, pues eso lo encuentra en Cinderella Bakery en la esquina de las calles Saltillo y Hamilton, ahí con mi amigo Mr. Henry Correa y su atento personal. Abierto de las 6:30 de la mañana hasta las 3 de la tarde. Después de las 3, ni para qué vaya porque ya cerraron el portón and it's more secure than Fort Knox. Así que visítenles antes de las 3 de la tarde. Cinderella Bakery en la esquina de las calles Saltillo y Hamilton. En esta mañana tenemos una hermosa damita que nos visita y vamos a ver de quién se trata. Your name, please?
Hi, this is Areli C. So happy to be here. Thank you all so much for having me.
Areli C. Miss Areli C. Where do you hail from?
So I'm coming from Los Angeles, California.
Hoy nomás, the City of Angels.
Yes.
Great,
That's right.
Now, tell us about your career.
So I started professionally singing about 2 years now. So I am a Latin artist, and I just love to fuse and incorporate different styles in my music. It all just started with a collaboration with an up-and-coming artist, and that's when I knew I needed to just dive into this career that I've always been so passionate about. Music is just everything to me, and I said, you know what, I already have this wonderful opportunity, and I have to go for it.
Which artist has collaborated with you, or you collaborated with him or her?
So the very first one, he does more of an urban Latino type of style. This is for Una Mirada. We have a music video. This artist is called Larzi and Young Playa. But I hope to collaborate with more artists out there, up and coming, but also big names out there as well in the future.
Is anybody in your family into music?
No, I would be the first one.
You're the first one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you show him. You go out there and you show him that you can do it. Areli C is the new talent in Tejano music, the música tejana, ¿verdad?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you play any instruments?
So I started playing the violin when I was about 11, 12 years old. So I was in middle school, I played that. Then I started learning piano, and I hope to play soon the guitar.
Uh-huh. Oh, are you studying guitar now?
I'm about to.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm about to, but not yet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, not yet.
Well, you know what it takes?
Do I know what it takes?
Do you know what it takes to learn the guitar?
Kind of. I've heard a lot of stories. I know a lot of people who play the guitar, so.
Well, the first one is to grab a guitar and go at it. Seguro que sí.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I've been playing guitar. I'm not the best in the world by any means, but I do what I can, whenever I can, and wherever I can. Seguro que sí.
Yes, I agree.
So, mucha suerte
Gracias.
en your career. ¿Hablas español o no?
Sí, también.
¿O también hablas español?
También.
Entonces, ¿para qué me haces que malgaste aquí mi inglés?
She was just testing you. She was making sure you
Just a
understand.
little bit.
Híjole. I've never been so embarrassed in my life. Well, yeah, I have, as a matter of fact. But that's another story. But anyway, Areli, what brings you to San Antonio?
So I have this special project. What brought me here to San Antonio is working with a legend. She is very well known in the Tejano world, and she is a great artist, but also a great producer. And that was to record a song that the one and only Shelly Lares has produced for me.
Are you talking about Shelly Lares?
I am.
She owes me $5. She owes me $5 now.
Yeah, she's all right, but I wouldn't really brag. I wouldn't really brag that much about Shelly Lares, you know.
She's gonna kick our butts later on. You know that, right?
She's más o menos.
She's okay.
Yeah. Now we've been friends for many, many years. Shelly Lares.
Oh my
Y
gosh.
luego otro gran personaje que también está tremendo en el ambiente, Mr. José Rosario González.
Mr. Gonzalez, man, he's the man.
¿Eh?
He's the man.
Such a
He's the man.
pleasure to meet
Hazte para acá, mijo. Pues
No,
ahí está,
right there.
ahí está el micrófono. Acércate allá al micrófono.
Buenos días a todos ustedes, amigos, aquí en KLMO con Areli C, directly from California. And yes, the big surprise was that Areli C is recording with Shelly Lares. They recorded yesterday, and you can expect a great song, right?
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So thank you for having Areli C here at KLMO. Plácido Salazar, big boy. Thank you.
Es un honor.
Plácido Salazar Show.
Es un honor, seguro que sí. Bueno, pues, pero oye, ¿por qué? ¿Para dónde vas? Tienes
Es que
otro
sí
compromiso,
tengo
¿verdad?
otro compromiso. Voy a estar presentándome para una amiga mía, la doctora Ellen. Y así es que vamos a preparar algo con Juan Cabrera y con Henry Gómez, unos amigos tremendos. También leyendas de la música. Henry Gómez grabó varias canciones con Selena, hizo los arreglos de No Me Queda Más. Así es que voy a estar con ellos en unos momentos para una presentación especial.
Henry García,
Henry Gómez.
Gómez.
Sí.
I think I've heard of him.
Yeah, a
couple
little
of
bit.
times.
Great
Cada
friend of
semana.
ours, yeah.
Gran amigo, un gran amigo y gran compañero por allá. Nos juntamos todos los miércoles allá en
Tremendo
en
músico.
Flor de Chiapas.
Sí, tremendo músico. Y no frecuentemente nos reunimos, ¿verdad?, para presentaciones. Pero, bueno, en realidad esa es una ocasión especial porque va a estar tanto Juan Cabrera en el arpa como Henry Gómez en la guitarra con su trío. Así es que va a ser algo sensacional. Es una hora nada más, pero es algo que va a ser especial para mí.
¿En dónde
Porque
van a estar?
hace años que no nos veíamos y hace años que no cantábamos juntos.
¿Y en dónde va a ser esto, José?
Esta va a ser es una casa privada, es un cumpleaños, pero es un cumpleaños de una persona muy especial de aquí de San Antonio.
¿Oh, sí?
Sí.
Qué bien, pues a mí no me invitaron, así que ya no voy a poder
No.
ir.
I'm not hurt. I'm not in my feels. No.
All right. Bueno, pues te deseamos mucha suerte, José Rosario
No, en
González.
realidad es un gran placer estar aquí con ustedes y compartir este nuevo talento de Areli C. Es fabuloso el estar con ustedes, tanto con el señor, la leyenda Plácido Salazar, como con Big Boy.
Muchas gracias, muy amable, muy
Gracias.
amable. Seguro que sí. Bueno, pues Areli C.
Sí.
¿Cuál es tu apellido, Areli?
Casillas.
¿Castilla?
Casillas.
¿O Casillas?
Casillas.
Ok.
Sí. Ujú.
Muy bien.
Sí.
Pues, naturalmente tienes buenos líderes en la música que te están apoyando, que te están guiando. ¿Qué mejor puedes pedir? Ya lo demás depende de ti, que le pongas muchas, muchas ganas, porque eso es lo que se requiere para lograr el éxito en la música. Se necesita que el artista ponga todo lo que está de su parte, y yo sé que tú estás bien preparada para eso. Eres una jovencita con bastante energía para ponerle todas las ganas a tu carrera en la música.
De acuerdo, muchas gracias.
¿Y te has presentado en algunos sitios por allá en California?
Sí, de hecho tengo una presentación muy pronto que sería el sábado que entra. Sería el 11 de noviembre y es en la ciudad que también crecí. Ahí fui en la high school, la universidad. Entonces estoy muy emocionada por presentarme otra vez, cantar todas mis canciones y también otras canciones que creo que les va a gustar mucho a la gente.
Okay. You graduated from the university?
I did, yeah. I went to UC Riverside, so that's located in Riverside, California. So I got my bachelor's degree, and I also minored in dance, fun fact. But yeah, I was definitely going into a path of teaching because that was something
So
that
that's
was...
what you majored in, education?
Uh-huh, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I have a couple of great friends and relatives over there in the Riverside area. Tengo a Mr. Danny Morales, a great civil rights leader and a great humanitarian, because he and certain team that they have over there, they go out in the desert, looking for migrants that might need help to survive, or others that have unfortunately passed away. And so Denny Morales and his group go out there in the desert to help migrants that might need help, and to be able to save some of them, and some of them it's too late. And then I have my sobrino over there. Yeah, I have a sobrino, a very special nephew over there. Monty Ransom.
Oh, okay.
Monty Ransom is a very, very dear nephew of mine. So, un saludo muy especial para mi sobrino Monty. And I have a lot of great friends over there. También está allá por Rubén Espinosa, ¿verdad? Rubén Espinosa, un gran miembro de la música. Yo creo que ya se jubiló, ¿verdad? Se jubiló, pero todavía sigue moviendo la perica. Ayudando a los que vienen subiendo en la música. Así que un saludo para nuestro amigo Rubencico. Rubencico Espinosa, seguro que sí. Y naturalmente queremos desearte toda la felicidad del mundo, Areli. Y ojalá que vengas a visitarnos cuando ya tienes algunas grabaciones por allí, ¿verdad? Que están al aire. Sí.
Sí.
A ver, acércate, no te dé
Acércate más y más. Me trajiste unos recuerdos tremendos porque Rubén Espinosa fue mi director de ventas en Sony. Y bueno, hicimos una historia tremenda con Vicente Fernández, Ana Gabriel, bueno, etcétera. Gracias por ese recuerdo de Rubén Espinosa. Areli sí tiene varias grabaciones. Y tiene grabaciones que ya tienen mucho éxito, que se están colocando ya en las estaciones tejanas. Por eso es que ella está llegando aquí a San Antonio, porque quiere hacer esa mancuerna directa. ¿Y qué más directo se puede hacer que con Shelly Lares? ¿Verdad?
Claro que sí. Bueno, pues les vamos a pedir al público por ahí que busquen la música. Está en YouTube también, algunas, me imagino.
Sí, la pueden encontrar en YouTube, en Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music. También tengo videos musicales de 2 de mis canciones, así que sí, están en todas las plataformas.
Ok. Pues yo conozco a un compositor que más o menos está escribiendo algunas cancioncitas por allí que posiblemente te puedan interesar para grabarlas allí. El señor González te va a mencionar cuáles son algunas de las algunas de las canciones.
Sería un honor.
Pues qué bien, Areli. Ahora, ¿tienes algunas presentaciones aquí en el área ahora próximamente?
En el área aún no, confirmado no, todavía no, pero ojalá muy pronto. Me encantaría regresar y presentarme enfrente de todo el público aquí en San Antonio.
Well, again, the persons that can help you are Jose Gonzalez and Shelly Lares. They know all the promoters, and they know how to get you some good gigs around here. So we certainly wish you the very best, of course, ¿verdad? Ahora, ¿quieres dar algún número de teléfono donde te pueden llamar algunas personas que estén interesadas? Do you have a group that backs you up?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, do I have a group that I perform with?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I do. I have a group that is so special to me because most of them have known me for many, many years.
Uh-huh.
So we're super close, and it'll be their first time performing with me actually next week. But yeah, they are called Rayos de Luz.
Rayo de Luz?
Yes.
Rayos de Luz.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also from Los Angeles?
Yeah, some of them are.
Uh-huh.
Some of them are from Utah, and some of them are from Los Angeles, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they would be able to travel with you as Areli?
Oh, absolutely. I think they would love that.
Really?
Yeah, and I just appreciate all of their support, all of their dedication, hard work. It really does mean a lot to me.
Oh, that's great. Well, ojalá algunos de los promotores que estén escuchando por allí, y hay muchos promotores en el área, por allá en el Valle, en Houston, en Dallas, Fort Worth, allá un pueblito que está por allá para el west de Texas, allá casi, muy apenas alcanzan a estar en el estado de Texas, que se llama El Paso.
Sí, sí reconozco esa ciudad.
El Chuco. De allá es nuestro amigo el Big Boy, seguro que sí.
Oh.
Y por allá tenemos también otros grandes amigos y les enviamos un saludo. Por ejemplo,
Muchos saludos a todos.
A la
Gracias.
familia Bolaños y a la familia de mi amigo el licenciado Arnulfo Hernández y muchos otros amigos que tenemos por allá. Les enviamos un saludo muy afectuoso, un
Muchos
abrazo,
saludos,
seguro que sí.
Un fuerte abrazo a todos.
Un fuerte abrazo para todos ustedes y nuestro corazón está con ustedes siempre. En KLMO 98.9 y 92.1 desde San Antonio, Texas, para el mundo entero. Areli, ¿qué más nos puedes contar acerca de tus planes y tus logros que a tu tierna edad ya has tenido algunos logros, me imagino, ¿verdad?
Sí, poder tener mi música ya en la radio y tenerlos en the charts ha sido algo que it feels so surreal. No lo puedo imaginar, pero I'm so humbled. So humbled to have my music being embraced and loved and appreciated by everybody, de todos aquí en Texas y en cualquier lugar donde estén escuchando mi música. I'm so humbled to.
Do you have any up there on the top?
She's too new. She's very new. I got a couple of tracks.
Probably
for you.
not those.
You do?
Yes, sir.
Well, can we listen to one of them?
We got 4 of them, I believe. Which one would you like to listen
dale
to?
gas, Nicolás.
Oh,
¿Qué estamos
well,
esperando, hombre?
We can start off with Te Vas Conmigo.
Got it.
¿Cómo?
Te Vas Conmigo.
¿Oh, sí? Ok, gracias por la invitación. All right, let's listen to it.
All right, here we go.
Big boy.
Uh-oh.
¿Qué pasó? ¿No le echaste una peseta? Put a quarter in there.
All right, hold on. I'm going to have to do this hard way then. One
Ay,
second.
ay, ay.
Every day I have problems with this computer now and then.
Para cuando saques la pistola nos van a matar a los dos.
No, please, no. All right, hold on. Let's just let it finish.
But you
I
can
thought
expect a pop cumbia of Te Vas Conmigo is more of a pop cumbia. So I hope it makes you dance.
Ahí está.
Here it is.
Si me lanzaste la señal y no te paré a pensar, si es fuego me prendiste, ya no me aguantó la curiosidad. Tú dime si te vas conmigo, amigo, pa' mi casa. Llevo tiempo esperando ¿Dónde carajo te metiste? Si me lanzaste la señal y no te paré a pensar, si es fuego me prendiste. Ya no me aguanto la curiosidad. Tú dime si te vas conmigo, amigo, pa' mi casa. Llevo tiempo esperando por ti. Si yo sé que te vas conmigo, amigo, deja el drama. Puede que no se vaya a repetir.
Did you hit that? Did you hit the jukebox there or what? What happened? What happened, my man? All right. Well, how about?
All right, here, hold on, there we go.
Okay.
Let's try one more time.
¿Dónde carajo te metiste? Si me lanzaste la señal y no te paré a pensar, si es fuego me prendiste. Ya no me aguanto la curiosidad. Tú dime si te vas conmigo, amigo, pa' mi casa. Llevo tiempo esperando por ti. Si yo sé que te vas conmigo, amigo, deja el drama. Puede que no se vaya a repetir. ¿Dónde carajo te metiste? Si me lanzaste la señal y no te paré a pensar, si es fuego me prendiste. Ya no me aguanto la curiosidad. Tú dime si te vas conmigo, amigo, pa' mi casa. Llevo tiempo esperando por ti. Si yo sé que te vas conmigo, amigo, deja el drama. Puede que no se vaya a repetir. Una bandida si me llamas a las 3 de la mañana. Le gusta mi tejeraje, lo recibo sin reclama. Puede que no se repita otra vez. Si te atreves, comencemos y después lo resolvemos. Te imagino con un tela agarrándome del pelo. Que salvaje te verías, bebé. Y ahora tócame como si fue ayer la última vez que nos vamos a ver. Bebiendo rosé, de ti me acordé. Solo déjate envolver de una vez. Tú dime si te vas conmigo, amigo, pa' mi casa. Llevo tiempo esperando por ti. Si yo sé que te vas conmigo, amigo, deja el drama. Puede que no se vaya a repetir. 24/7 estoy pa' ti. Dale bloca, eso es lo que es que tú estás pa' mí. Si me prueba una vez no te va a arrepentir. Me dicen bandida y esta noche ya ando free. Era atea pero contigo creí. Me frontea pero eso me gusta así. Si me deseas solo dime que sí. Dime que sí, que todo esto es pa' ti. Y ahora tócame como si fue ayer la última vez que nos vamos a ver. Bebiendo rosé, de ti me acordé. Solo déjate envolver de una vez. ¿Dónde carajo te metiste? Si me lanzaste la señal y no te paré a pensar, si fuego me prendiste. Ya no me aguanto la curiosidad. Tú dime si te vas conmigo, amigo, pa' mi casa. Llevo tiempo esperando por ti. Si yo sé que te vas conmigo, amigo, deja el drama. Puede que no se vaya a repetir. Y ahora tócame como si fue ayer la última vez que nos vamos a ver. Bebiendo rosé, de ti me acordé. Solo déjate envolver de una vez.
All right. La música de Areli C. Y tenemos más música también, ¿verdad? Por allí, Big Boy. We got some more. But in the meantime, permíteme enviar un saludo para nuestros amigos por allá en Raymondville, Texas, del American Legion. Dice Willis County Health Coalition yesterday at the American Legion Hall. I'm connected to KLMO with daughter's help. Yeah, that's usually the way it happens. I don't know how to operate these digital, whatever you call it. So usually you ask a 3 or 4-year-old and they know how to do it, but I don't know how to do it. At any rate, un saludo para nuestros amigos, el comandante por allá, Mr. George Solis y su familia, y todos nuestros amigos, nuestros veteranos por allá en el área de Raymondville, La Sara, La Villa, Sebastián, en Harlingen, seguro que sí. A todos nuestros amigos que nos escuchan por allá, un saludo muy especial. Our heart goes out to you, seguro que sí. All the time, every day, 24 hours a day. Y aquí tenemos a Miss Areli, sí, con nosotros. Areli, platícanos algo.
Muchas gracias. Bueno, estoy muy agradecida de estar aquí con KLMO Tejano. Muchas gracias por tenerme aquí. Estoy muy, muy agradecida de estar aquí y poderles platicar un poco de quién soy yo como artista y de mi música también.
Claro que sí. La familia López, que son los propietarios de KLMO, también cuentan con 7 estaciones de radio, 7 radio stations that they own, and some TV stations and all that. So they can really help your career. Okay. Y a la familia López, Carlos López, Homer López, Bert, Coach Bert. He's the one that controls the top 20 countdown over there. Oh. So it's nice to know Coach. Ahí está, mira. Coach Bert López, muy tejano por allá.
Muy beautiful. Mira, mira.
Yeah, he's all right, you know. I wouldn't brag too much about it, but yeah, he's not quite as handsome as I am, but at any rate, you know,
they try.
He's trying. All right, Areli. So, what is the next song that you're gonna do for us? Platícanos algo.
Which one?
Another song that we can play, it is Salí a Beber. This was my very first single, and I'm so excited. This was my first single as a solo artist. And Salí a Beber, it was a very playful song. It's just leaving this toxic relationship, and you're gonna go out and have some fun with your friends, with your family who support you, and just, you know, letting go and remembering who you are as a person.
Who wrote the song?
This one, Luca Tanelli, and he is a producer from Colombia, and this is more of an urban Latino type of style of song. And you might hear a little bit of cumbia as well. So yeah, I'm very excited about that one as well.
All right. Well, are we ready for it? Did you
Hope
put the
y'all
quarter
enjoy.
in the jukebox there, big boy?
Give me a couple of more seconds.
Ay. See, if we were in a gunfight, I would have got killed already before Big Boy didn't pull the gun.
No.
We would have been toasted already. All right.
Ay.
I think I just got.
Vamos a ver.
Let's see if we could do it this way.
Let's see, like Ray Charles used to say. Let me see.
All right, come on now.
Espero que les guste.
Hoy salí a beber, ya no creo en amores. Ando en busca de otra piel que no ponga condiciones. No pongas pretextos, no entiendo razones. No quiero tus dulces peluches ni flores. Hoy voy a salir y me voy a divertir, nada me detiene. No creo en el amor.
What is happening, Mr. Big Boy?
It's like I said, when downloading this music and I have to use one program, sometimes the whole song will play out, and the other times no, and I have to do this little song and dance where,
Oh,
it's a long process.
I was getting ready to fire you, but I guess we'll put the blame on the.
Technology, right?
Not to worry. No, but not to worry. Not to worry. You're a permanent employee here. You're probably more secure than I am. So
There we go. Got it.
All right, let's hear it.
Hoy salí a beber, ya no creo en amores. Ando en busca de otra piel que no ponga condiciones. No pongas pretextos, no entiendo razones. No quiero tus dulces peluches ni flores. Hoy voy a salir y me voy a divertir. sorprende. Un error lo comete cualquiera y es normal que al principio duela. No voy a tropezar con la misma piedra. Habiendo tantos peces en el mar, me sorprende que yo me quise quedar. Y ya no quiero hablar, viniendo de ti no hay nada para rescatar. No tengo intención y pienso volver a llorar por un hombre que a mí no me supo valorar. Hoy salí a beber, ya no creo en amores. Ando en busca de otra piel que no ponga condiciones. No pongas pretextos, no entiendo razones. No quiero tus dulces peluches ni flores. Te equivocaste si pensaste que te lo iba a pasar. Ya no insista, es muy tarde, no te voy a perdonar. Te ves patético, no me dejes de buscar, mira qué cínico. Porfa, deja de llamar, pero qué tóxico. Te voy a bloquear, ya me cansé. Voy a apagar el celular. Habiendo tantos peces en el mar, me sorprende que yo me quise quedar. Habiendo tantos peces en el mar, me sorprende que yo me quise quedar. Hoy salí a beber, ya no creo en amores. Ando en busca de otra piel que no ponga condiciones. No pongas pretextos, no entiendo razones. No quiero tus dulces peluches ni flores.
All right, la música de Arely C. I would not even attempt to dance that because I'd probably throw one of my hips out of place. Ay, ay, ay. And, you know, I cannot afford to lose any of my bones because, there's a junkyard here that's called the Pick and Pull, and they don't have any parts for me anymore. So I have to be very careful. Arely C. All right. Les vamos a recordar que si ya se cansó de pagar renta, entonces aquí tenemos la respuesta para usted. O, mejor dicho, Sonia de la Garza Walker tiene la respuesta para ayudarle a comprar su propia casa. Ya no malgaste su dinero pagando renta. You do not need to pay rent no more. Claro que sí, you can be owner of your own home. Now, if you are military on active duty or retired, if you're a veteran, well, there are some special programs that can help you buy your own home. And the best thing you can do is to call Miss Sonia de la Garza Walker, IH10 Realty, teléfono 210-663-9706. 210-663-9706. Y para el mejor, el más rico pan mexicano, Cinderella Bakery, en la esquina de las calles Saltillo y Hamilton. Cinderella Bakery, donde encuentra los más ricos pasteles para su boda, para su quinceañera. People will be talking forever about. Do you remember that great, beautiful cake that we had at la quinceañera de Miss So and So, or el 60-year birthday, the big boy? Do you remember that cake? That it was so nice. Well, it was prepared by Cinderella Bakery. They are specialists in preparing the best cakes that you can imagine. Y cada día de la semana, bueno, los lunes está cerrado, pero cualquier día de la semana puede pasar por allí y comprar esos ricos conchas o polletes, como le llame usted, y tienen unas que les llaman chilindrinas, otros que les nombran nombres, tienen diferentes nombres, no me acuerdo de todos los nombres, pero el caso es que visíteles, están en la esquina de las calles Saltillo y Hamilton. Saltillo y Hamilton. Cinderella Bakery solamente hay una, y como Cinderella Bakery, ninguna. Y a esa hora, ya es tiempo que ponga su orden para los tamalitos. Los domingos tienen riquísima barbacoa y tamales. Así que visite a Mr. Henry Correa. Abierto desde las 6:30 de la mañana hasta las 3 de la tarde. Después de las 3 ni para qué vaya, porque allá el portón está cerrado. All right. Vamos a continuar la plática con Miss Arely C. All right, Miss Arely. Tell me something. Are your parents from L.A. or were they born there?
No, so both of my parents are from Mexico. My mom is from Chihuahua.
Chihuahua.
Yeah. Saludos a todos de Chihuahua. Y mi papá es de Guadalajara, es de hecho de un pueblito que se llama Cañadas.
Cañada.
Sí.
Ajá.
Y sí, los dos son de México, pero vinieron para acá, a Los Ángeles, en California. Y ahí yo y mis hermanos crecimos.
Okay. ¿Cuántos hermanos tienes?
Tengo 4. Yo soy la quinta, la
Ajá.
bebé de la familia.
Ajá.
Sí.
4 hermanos y hermanas o
Tengo 3 hermanas y un hermano.
qué bien.
Y saludos a todos los que están viendo. Aquí, de hecho, tengo una hermana que siempre me apoya, siempre está conmigo.
Qué bien. Tenemos algunos nombres por allí, Mr. Big Boy. What do we have there?
Gotta say good morning to Hector Ruiz, Mary Gutierrez.
Thank you, Mary.
Hey, Señor Edward Vargas checks on in from Flagship Health. Iracema Hernandez, Stephanie Lopez, Leslie Casillas.
Hello.
Myra D. Hey, what's up, Miss Myra D? Elva Rios. Elvia Rios, excuse me.
Yes.
Where are they from? Do you know?
They're not sounding off cities where they're from, but Sabrina Hernandez checks on in. Mary Reyes.
Okay.
Hello,
Where are they? I
Mary.
think she's from Ohio, I believe.
So far, no one's sounded off yet.
¿No dice?
Ceci Rodriguez.
Hola, Ceci.
Aro, as well as Eduardo de Valle and Elvia Rios.
Hi.
We do
How
got people
about
checking
that?
on. We got
Los
people
quiero a
checking on in
todos.
from Coahuila, Mexico.
Coahuila?
Yep.
Coahuila, Mexico?
Yes, sir. Also
Okay.
in Piedras Negras, San Antonio. Let's see, Lubbock, Wichita, Kansas, and that's what we got going on right now.
Okay. What about that's on Facebook or what?
The names that I started off were Facebook. The cities and states.
And
that's
we
it.
have another
California.
another list somewhere.
That's it right there so far.
Nombre, shut up.
Leslie Casillas from Cali.
Hi, Leslie. She's my other sister.
Oh, your sister?
Yes.
Eduardo
Okay.
de Valle from also California.
Yes.
Manatee,
Hi.
California.
Ok, para todos que nos escuchan por allá en California,
Muchas gracias.
pues aquí en todo Texas tenemos radio escuchas que se reportan con nosotros, así que les vamos a pedir si nos está escuchando, pues envíanos su nombre, el nombre de la ciudad o el pueblito donde nos ve, el estado, si nos está viendo por allá en México o en cualquier otro país de habla hispana, pues denos su nombre y el nombre de la localidad donde nos escucha y nosotros con todo gusto, con todo cariño les vamos a enviar un saludo, claro que sí. To everybody watching or listening anywhere in the world, please let us know your name, the name of the city or state or country that you're watching or listening, because sometimes we have people that are watching in Germany, for example, in Australia, and Paraguay, and en Brasil, Chile, Perú,
Neverlands.
En México, ¿en dónde?
Neverlands.
Netherlands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Netherlands.
okay. I thought you said Neverland.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
that- Neverland was ¿cómo se llama?
Peter Pan, Hombre.
Wow. People
No,
listening from
shut up.
everywhere here.
Nombre, shut up.
That's amazing.
All right. Bueno, de todos modos, vamos a continuar. Tenemos más música con
more song.
Areli.
Yeah, another song. This is Nada Más Que Hablar. And this one was also very special, but probably my most special so far that I've released, because I was able to work with my sister. Funny story. Do I have time for
Is she a musician also?
All right. So my sister calls me early in the morning. She's like, "Hey, I have a song for you." And I said, "What?" Mind you, she's never written a song in her life before.
¿Ella también es música?
No.
No.
Pero le encanta.
Le encanta la música. Okay.
So, cuando uno tiene la inspiración y el corazón, yo creo se le da, ¿verdad? Y entonces me llama y dice, te tengo una canción. Y digo, ¿qué? Chequeo mi teléfono y digo, ay, son las 6 de la mañana y ahorita me está llamando, marcando, o sea, ¿qué está pasando? So she tells me, yes, let me send you this song and let me see what you think.
Cada vez que le pegas a la mesa parece que le estás dando un martillazo.
Yeah.
No. I'm a little too excited.
Amárrale las manos, por favor. Areli, es que se pone muy
muy emocionada.
Emocionada.
Estoy. No, pero sí, me da mitad de la canción y la letra está increíble. Yo no lo puedo imaginar que ella había escrito esta canción. Y entonces nosotras dos ya vamos colaborando en la melodía y en terminar la canción. Y es algo pues que fue muy especial para mí, para poder compartir algo que a mí me llena de mucha emoción, mucho pasión y corazón, que también ella le tenga también creo que el mismo sentimiento.
So, ¿las dos colaboraron para componer esta canción?
Sí, exacto. Y muchas gracias a Luz que produjo la música y sí, esta sería
¿Y cómo se llama la canción?
Nada más que hablar.
¿Cómo?
Nada más que hablar.
Nada más que hablar.
Ujú.
¿La escuchamos, Big Boy? Ah, boy, Big Boy, you throw yourself.
Bueno, Areli.
Qué difícil es aceptar que para ti fui solo un juego. No te deseo más.
Lisi, estamos escuchando por aquí en KLMO 98.9 y 92.1 desde San Antonio, Texas, para el mundo entero. Para usted que nos ve, que nos escucha, muchas gracias por su preferencia. Recuerden también que ahora KLMO está en YouTube. That's right. Estamos en YouTube las 24 horas. Lo único que tiene que hacer es bajar el app de YouTube y nos puede ver, nos puede escuchar por allí las 24 horas. Así que KLMO siempre haciendo lo posible para avanzar y con el propósito de que usted, que nos ve, que nos escucha por allí, pueda tener la facilidad de escuchar y de ver KLMO 98.9 y 92.1. Te iba a preguntar, Areli, en algunas fotografías estás retratada con un caballo. ¿Te gusta montar? ¿Tienes caballo o qué?
No, no tengo caballo, pero sí me encanta montar y quiero seguir aprendiendo porque a mí me encantan los caballos.
Ajá.
Sí, y de hecho tuve un caballo en mi video musical que sería para este sencillo que fue Nada más que hablar.
Ajá.
Y ahí es donde pude incorporar ese caballo que me encanta también.
¿De quién es el caballo?
Es de un amigo muy cercano a mí y también tiene rancho y me hizo ese favor. Y
¿Tú vives
lo
en la
agradezco.
ciudad o en el rancho?
Bueno, vivo en la ciudad, pero voy mucho a la ciudad donde vive mi hermana, que sería en Riverside County, y ahí hay muchos ranchos. Así que sí, tenemos muchos amigos con ranchos y caballos.
Qué bien. El cuadro musical, ¿quiénes son los músicos que te acompañan ahí en esas canciones?
Sería uno de ellos que también ayuda a producir mi música, que sería Luz Gaitán. Muchas gracias y saludos. La batería, que sería Julio. Otro se llama Andy, Caín y Loren. Saludos a todos ustedes y muchos abrazos.
Así es. Pues Areli, nos sentimos de veras muy honrados que nos vengas a visitar desde California. Yo sé que tienes algunos proyectos que se van a llevar a cabo aquí en San Antonio, ¿verdad? ¿Van a grabar aquí en San Antonio?
Sí, ya grabamos la canción con Shelly Lares. Espero que les guste. Es un estilo que siempre he querido, que sería tejano. Entonces estoy muy emocionada y espero que les guste.
¿Y ya lo grabaron o lo van a grabar?
Ya la grabamos. Sí, lo grabamos hace 2 días.
Oh, ok. Así que ya tienes que 2 días aquí en San Antonio.
Ya, pero de hecho, después de esto, ya me voy al aeropuerto.
¿Oh, sí?
Sí.
Ahora sales para regresar
hoy regreso a California. Sí.
Okay. ¿Qué te pareció? ¿Cuáles sitios has visitado aquí en San Antonio?
Sí, pude visitar primero Austin, Texas, y luego fuimos al Riverwalk de San Antonio, al Álamo, y creo que esos lugares pudimos ver y visitar esos días que venimos, pero ojalá tenga más tiempo la próxima vez que venga.
¿Y cuáles restaurantes visitaste?
Rosarios, que estuvo bien rico. Fiume, que está en el Riverwalk, que es italiano, súper rico también. Y el otro que sería, creo que fue Republic.
¿Cómo?
Republic, yeah, I know that one.
Yeah. Creo
Yeah,
que
but did
fue.
anybody take you to like the taquerias or any of those?
No, they
They didn't take you to the
¿No te
mom and
gusta la
papas.
comida mexicana?
¿Mande?
¿La comida mexicana?
No, hold on, Mr. Palacio. You gotta watch out because when it comes to like California Mexican food and Texas Mexican food, there's a little clash right there. That's why I want to know. They take you any real Mexican restaurants? 'Cause around here, it's real.
I've had California food, Mexican food, and it doesn't compare.
It doesn't compare.
With all due respect, it does not even come close to la comida mexicana de aquí de San Antonio, Texas.
I have to go eat with
O del
both
Valle
of you
también.
then.
Allá en el
I
Valle,
would love to.
ojalá que un día tengas la oportunidad de visitar
Sí.
a mi Valle querido acá al sur de Texas. De
Me
allí,
encantaría.
de allí salí yo. ¿Me corrieron? No me
Ay, no.
corrieron. No me corrieron.
True story.
I
True
joined the
story.
Air Force, the United States Air Force, and I stayed there for 20 years. Pero
Wow.
de vez en cuando regreso. As a matter of fact, el próximo sábado, saliendo de aquí del programa, me arranco porque tengo que ir a una boda de un sobrino mío por allá en Elsa, Texas. así que voy a visitar el valle nuevamente. Y un saludo para todos nuestros amigos que nos escuchan, que nos ven
Muchos
por allá
saludos.
en el Valle del Río Grande. Thank you so much. Our heart goes out to you. Seguro que sí.
Absolutely.
All right. ¿Qué más nos vas a ofrecer, Areli?
No,
¿Ya?
that's all the tracks I
¿Ya
got.
estuvo? Bueno, pues nuevamente te queremos agradecer tu visita aquí a nuestros estudios y ojalá que próximamente nos visites ya cuando salgan más música, que salgan más grabaciones, que Big Boy no las deje caer al suelo. Ay, Big Boy, ¿qué voy a hacer contigo? What's a mother to do? All right. No son accidentes que pasan.
Sí,
No,
it's okay.
He didn't do it on purpose.
No.
It's gonna be a hit.
I won't take it personal.
It's gonna be a hit because it hit the floor.
Hit the floor.
So the only way it can go from the bottom is to go up.
Yes.
Seguro
That's
que sí.
the only
All right.
way.
So cuando salgan las siguientes grabaciones, ojalá que nos nuevamente nos honres con tu visita aquí a los estudios
Claro
de
que sí.
KLMO, donde
El honor
siempre
es mío.
estamos.
Gracias.
La familia López nos permiten darles la bienvenida a todos los artistas que tienen su música por allí. We welcome everybody to come and visit with us. All you gotta do is call me, and let me give you my cell phone number, músicos. Everybody out there watching, listening, my cell phone number is area 210-422-0378. 210-422-0378. En español, seguro que ya es 210-422-0378. Háblenos y díganos de qué se trata. Let me hear about something about how about let me see, let me grab something here. Mira, algo aquí con mi amigo Flaco Jiménez, una polquita. I think it's number one. So anyway, Areli, sí, muchas gracias, okay, por visitarnos.
Muchas
y ya
gracias por
sabes, la
tenerme.
invitación está siempre contigo para que regreses y nos traigas un poquito de tu música o mucha de tu música. Siempre estamos listos y dispuestos para escucharla. All right, vamos a continuar con más música bonita para ustedes con Leonardo Flaco Jiménez. Éntrenle a bailar. Si le dan ganas de bailar, aviéntese. Nada más cuidado con la mesita, no se vaya a levantar un juanete por allí. All right, vamos a continuar. Y aquí tenemos la música de Flaco Jiménez. All right, seguro que sí, bonita música para usted aquí en KLMO 98.9 y 92.1 desde San Antonio, Texas, el show de Plácido. Recuerden, les invitamos para el próximo sábado y cada sábado aquí estamos desde las 10 de la mañana a las 12 del mediodía y pues como siempre, gustosos de poder enviarles alegría para su deleite, para que usted baile por allí en casita, seguro que sí. Le invitamos el próximo sábado a las 10 de la mañana a ver quién falla entonces, usted o yo. ¿O yo?
Hey, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Tejano. But make sure you pay attention to these commercials. These businesses support Tejano music. Back in a flash right after this on KLMO.
Cervantes Towing and Road Service in Dilley, Texas is now offering delivery service on all your 18-wheeler automotive parts. Everything from brakes and airbags to hydraulic hoses and fittings. We can deliver straight to your business or home address. Just call 830-378-5598 and place your order today. Or place your order online at CervantesRoadService@gmail.com. With the purchase of $200 or more within a 50-mile radius, get all your 18-wheel automotive parts delivered to your front door. Díganle a todos que Cervantes Towing and Roadside Service ya se puso las pilas con entrega a domicilio. Desde frenos a bolsas de aire y hasta mangueras de presión, Cervantes lo tiene todo. If your wheels ain't turning, you're not making any money.
Ándale, that is absolutely correct. Bueno, pues les recordamos que si ya se cansó de pagar renta, ya no paga más renta. Póngase las pilas. Right on, cachetón. Visite o háblele en estos momentos a Sonia de la Garza Walker. Ella le va a dar información cómo puede usted comprar su propia casa, posiblemente sin enganche, y probablemente los pagos mensuales van a ser menos de lo que usted paga de renta. Así que you've got nothing to lose. Call me Sonia de la Garza Walker, IH10 Realty, 210-663-9706. 210-663-9706. Sonia de la Garza Walker le puede ayudar a comprar su propia casa. Dígale, lo escuché con Plácido. Ahora recuerde, para el más rico pan mexicano, Cinderella Bakery. No hay comparación. Cinderella Bakery, en la esquina de las calles Saltillo y Hamilton, le preparan un rico pastel para su boda, su quinceañera. Mire, así de este altonón, seguro que sí. Va a necesitar una escalera para poder cortar el pastel. Y riquísimo y hermoso. Y mucha gente, todos sus invitados van a estar platicando y comentando del riquísimo pastel que celebraron, que saborearon por allí en esa boda, en ese quinceañera. Ahora le recordamos, Cinderella Bakery abre a las 6:30 de la mañana, cerrado los lunes, y a las 3 de la tarde ya se cerraron las puertas, así que visíteles. Los domingos tienen los más ricos tamalitos y sabrosa barbacoa. Cinderella Bakery solamente hay una, y como Cinderella Bakery, ninguna.
Broadcasting from the 7th largest city in the United States of America, San Antonio, the capital of Tejano music. This is KLMO 98.9, Dilley, San Antonio, and K221GF 921 in San Antonio. KLMO.